So now it went from, where's the Reed Blankenship's contract? We'll put that aside for a while. Let's put this one out. It's 11 days. And we hear nothing on the Eagle front for the new offensive coordinator. Football Friday, we welcome you aboard. Please hit the like button. Super chats go to the top as always. What up? 11 days. Where are we? What happened? 11 days. Where's the where's the new OC? Where's the new OC? What happened? How come that job and nobody wants the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, there could be a part of me that does this. Is the future OC still coaching? Is he on one of these Final Four teams? Like a passing coordinator guy? Or a dude that they want to talk to after either eliminated or they get that bye week where they can talk? Okay? What do you think? You're getting Clint Kubiak as what? Your new next head football coach? Yeah, that'd be a no. So maybe, that could be. That's still out there. There's 4 teams left, and you can't talk to any of them dudes until they get into that bye week. So it still could be the guy. All right? So Football Friday, Conference Championship Sunday. We'll hit on that as well. Obviously, the main topic is going to be this offensive coordinating search that is continuing and continuing and continuing. Oh, by the way, 30-plus million people tuned into that national championship game, making it the second most watched in the BCS era because my game had 70 million people. How you doing? Double what you saw on Monday. And I thought 30 million was great. I think it was the Vince Young and Matt Leinart game where Vince won the national title for Texas. That was the number 1 overall viewed national title game. So that was great for college football. That bad puppy rolls up. So great season of college football. We appreciate you being here. 11 days. Where's the OC? I got a guy for you. Are you ready? I got a guy for you. Who is Nick Sirianni's favorite quarterback? Who is he? Who is Nick Sirianni's favorite quarterback? Who did Nick Sirianni have the most success with? Who does Nick Sirianni talk to on a weekly basis? And who is interviewing for the head coaching job in Buffalo? That would be Phillip Rivers. Okay? Now, wait a minute. Okay, Bobby Slowick, Phillip Rivers. Who do you think knows more about the quarterback position? Ask yourself this. And by the way, Jalen Hurts said it on the Manning cast. I watch Phillip Rivers tape all the time. He actually has conversations with Phillip Rivers about playing the position. I don't know. Bobby Slowick knows more about situational play calling than the guy who you watched all year, or half the year, I should say. Once he got on the football field, I heard Xander Krause doing this. Man, one of the coolest things for me to watch this year in the game was watching the way Phillip Rivers handled an offense. Hello? Hey, by the way, there's your third team emergency quarterback in case something goes sideways and Jalen Hurts gets hurt. You put that guy's ass in there. Hey, I'm good with that too. How is this not really a thought process that's kind of like, hey, it sounds like off the wall. But then again, when you really think about it, Nick had the most success with the guy. Nick respects the guy more than any quarterback he's ever coached. Frank Reich and him love Phillip Rivers. That could entice even Frank to come and be a coach on the coaching staff in Philly. How do you not embrace that? Sills, would you take the OC job? Yeah, because I don't have anybody else calling me to be an OC somewhere. Now, if I had options, no. No. Rivers, Eagles quarterback coach. He ain't taking that gig. Phillip Rivers, that guy made $10 million a year for like 20 years. That guy don't need the money. Phillip Rivers has made $300 million. Here, let me see. Let me put this out there for you. How much has Phillip Rivers made in his life? Or Phillip Rivers' net worth? Phillip Rivers' net worth. Phillip Rivers' net worth is $100 million bucks. He earned more than $240 million. And he's worth right now about $100 million bucks. Okay? We ain't taking a quarterback job. Hey, let me be the quarterback job in Philly. No, thank you. I'll take that OC gig. Okay? Big Sales love you, but you need to embrace the face of Philly media. You need to lead the force, fire Sirianni, and bench Hurts. It's that I have no intent. Wait a second. I have no intentions of leading any of that. You're 50-18, dude. I appreciate the front end of that comment, but I'm not firing or benching Jalen. Financially, it's not responsible. And secondly, Nick doesn't deserve to be fired. He doesn't deserve it. If Nick Sirianni deserved to be fired, I'd say it. I don't think he deserves to be fired. He says, how much would Lurie pay Rivers as an OC? 2.5, 3 million? Why not? I saw that story. It was an awful story. 55 years of age, died in a homeless encampment in Los Angeles. You know, man, it's not always about kissing cheerleaders and cashing paychecks. A lot of these men have struggles after the game. It's all they had in their life was the game. You know, if the game defines you, you're in trouble. I saw that story. Believe me, I felt for him. Not cool. One of our NFL brothers, you know. Sills, did the NFL or Players Union fail former Kevin Johnson? How many more retired NFL players are experiencing hardship? More than you know. The majority of them. The guys who only get paid in the NFL are, or got paid were the quarterbacks. But you think because if you played 10 years in the NFL, you got lifetime wealth? You don't. You don't have lifetime wealth. That's not what that is. We got the worst union in the planet. Why do you think the NFL has the shittiest union of all time in American sports? When you're an NBA guy or you're a baseball guy, you play 10 years, 8 years, 9 years, 15 years, whatever. The average career in the NFL is 3 years. So it's a revolving door of membership when it comes to union members. They don't have a strong union because you're not vested as a player. And you're not an NFL player unless you play 4 years. That's why the average career in the NFL is 3 years. An average NFL player plays 3 years. Not 13 years. I mean, not 23 years. Okay? Of course they don't give a shit. Why would they? They're the NFL owners. They don't give a shit about the players. They never will. Hey, by the way, at the end of the day, they look at you guys just like the same way they look at, their coaches, especially in Philly. They're interchangeable. So that is a sad story. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you being here on a Football Friday. We'll get to the AFC Championship game and also the NFC Championship game. Some compelling stories there. But here, 11 days now, there's no OC in Philly. Why? Was that the topic? Yeah, 11 days. Why? Why have we gone 11 days? Oh, Lord, I feel dumber by the day supporting this brain-dead coach. I can't, Sills. Holy shit. Marsh, listen. Nick Sirianni is not a coach like you and I know a coach. I happen to agree with Xander now. He's not an X's and O's guy. He's not. He's not an X's and O's guy. However, he's an administrative guy now. He kisses the ass of the GM. He kisses the ass of the owner. What they want to implement with their football team, they're going to, and they have had success this way. Ass kissing works in Philly. It's worked. Doug Peterson didn't want to ass kiss, and he got fired. Okay? The relationship with Doug started to go sideways, not because of the 4-win season. It went sideways. Do you know Doug Peterson got fired? And the reason they got fired was because he did win, and it went south with 4 wins. Gave him the excuse to fire him. Nobody in their right mind thinks that Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Doug Peterson. Not even anybody in Philly. Nobody in Philly thinks that. Hey, wait. Does anybody in Philly think that Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Doug? Do you think he's a better coach? If you had to have a game won, would you pick Nick or Doug to call that game? If you had to win a Super Bowl, one game for him to be on the sidelines. Get this. I think the accolades speak for themselves. Once again, M. Reyes believes that Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Dick Vermeil then. Or Parcells. He thinks they're better coaches because the accolades. And George Seifert got more accolades than Nick Sirianni. I mean, really. Seifert has way more accolades. Coach of the year, 2 Super Bowls, better win percentage, more NFC Championship game appearances. He's got 2 rings. He's got more. You think Seifert's a better coach than Parcells or Vermeil? Just stupid comment. Accolades? Okay. So M. Reyes shows you every day why he's a dummy and has no understanding of football. Your record is not an indicator of how great a coach you are. An indicator of the record is how great the organization is. If you're not in a good organization, I don't care what coach you are. Pete Carroll's going to get fired if he goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. And if Pete Carroll goes to the Seattle Seahawks that have a good front office with Schneider and them guys, and they have an understanding of winning football, Pete Carroll's going to thrive in that. You go to a shitty organization, you're going to bomb in that. No matter who you are, no matter what coach you are. You are a product of the organization's success when you're a coach. If you got people picking shitty players and making bad decisions, you're the Browns. No, Bill Belichick couldn't win in Cleveland. But when you got to Bob Kraft, he won because Bob Kraft knows how to put an organization together. It's the stupidest shit you can hear people say. The accolades speak for themselves. If you drop Nick Sirianni in the New York Jets, he'd blow like every other guy. Because the organization's not competent. Somehow, people like this dude would think, well, you can go in the Jets and he'd be Nick Sirianni. How stupid are you when you think like that? You got to be in the right environment, in the right situation, with the right front office people. Hey, for the record, I'll say this about the Eagles. Dude, it's one of the premier organizations in all of sports. There's no doubt. They're winning. It's no doubt an organizational thing. No question. They pick the players. They get the coaches right pretty much. They just have a quick trigger. The one thing the Eagles don't, you know why you haven't won more than 2 Super Bowls? You don't have patience. You don't have patience. I mean, you wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. Get this. And Reyes won't tell you the story that the owner tried firing the coach twice in the last 3 years. That is accolades? Or do you think the owner looks at Sirianni as a product of the environment? How can you look at a coach and say he's a good coach when your owner thought of firing him twice in the last 2 years? Help me think that out. Help me rationalize that out. If everybody truly believes that Nick is a great coach, help me understand that. Get this. Look at this shit here. Dude, help me understand that. According to Jeff McClain's reporting, the last 2 years, the owner almost fired him. How could that guy be a good coach when your owner was thinking of firing the guy? Tried firing him. He thought of firing the guy. That's great. Look, I'm not debating the facts. People in here don't want to hear the facts. Some of you don't. If everyone is apparently getting carried on this team, then who's doing the carrying? Howie Roseman. And to some extent, the quarterback. The most carried guy in the building's Nick. But Nick goes along with it. I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks about that guy, quite frankly. I don't care. That guy's a caboose of the ultimate cabooses. I watched Kyle Shanahan again expose that dude. Your owner tried firing him twice. Or no, thought of firing him twice. Come on, man. Get this. I don't even have to debate that. I don't even have to debate it. Thought of firing him after 23? Thought of firing him after the first 4 games, and you won the Super Bowl last year. Yeah, he's a great coach. Well, even in the owner's still waffling on him. How about this? The owner doesn't even think he's a great coach. How can the owner think he's a great coach when in the last 2 years he thought of firing him? How's that possible? If you got a great coach, you don't think of firing the guy. 2026, another wasted year. I don't see us winning. Okay? Get this. Sills paints a picture that's opposite of what's actually happening in the front office. What, that they tried firing him 2 years in a row? That's not a picture that was painted by me. That was a picture that was painted by a beat reporter for the Inquirer that covers the team that they give information to. That's not something I painted. That's something the Philadelphia media painted. That's something that somebody that covers the team said. I didn't paint that. I'm not painting anything. I'm just responding to it. I didn't paint that picture. Sills, what's your take on Baltimore's hire? What I don't get about Steve Biscotti, help me out here. He said he wanted to get away from the Harbaugh tree of coaching. Well, help me out here. Jesse Minter was on the Harbaugh gym in Michigan and in Los Angeles. And these guys are coming from the Harbaugh tree of coaching. I know you're going to have to wake me up on that one. I like Jesse Minter, by the way. But to tell me that you want to get away from the Harbaugh coaching? Well, who the hell do you think Jesse Minter was taught under? He was taught under Jim Harbaugh. Those two guys have the same coaching philosophy. So the guy's talking out of both sides of his mouth. So we're going to get away from John Harbaugh's style of coaching. You hired a guy from Jim Harbaugh's staff who's friends with John. Make that make sense. Considering all the OCs out there, you definitely opened my eyes that Rivers might be a choice. I could be down with that if he was actually interested. Why? He's interviewing right now for the Buffalo Bills job with Terry Pagula, the owner of the Bills. He's interviewing for that job as head coach. You're telling me Nick Sirianni couldn't coach and couldn't coax him into wanting to coach and be an offensive coordinator in Philly, try it for a year. That's all you last anyway in Philly. By the way, can I make a point to you about the hiring if you ever did? You're right. Xander, you're right. You better not hire Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers would expose your quarterback. You better not hire Phillip. No, 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 no. I'll take it back. That's a bad idea because he would ask him to do things that he's not capable of doing. Your quarterback would be exposed and it would be a train wreck. You're dead right. That is exactly correct because there's no way, Phillip, there's no way Jalen Hurts can go to a line and dissect the defense. He still can't do it. He can barely set protections. That's why the offense is so dumbed down. It's not dumbed down because Hurts is stupid. It's dumbed down because he's limited. And you're right. That'd be a bad fit because that guy needs somebody that understands offenses. Correct. Hurts' head would spin if he had to go to the line of scrimmage and learn how to dissect the defense. That guy can't read defenses. He's limited. And everyone knows it. Look at this shitty offense. By the way, get this. Awful take. That's why no one wants the job. Nobody wants the job. That's worth their salt. And they don't want to go in there and coach that dude and deal with Nick. They're going to have, dude, your offense is not changing next year. Stop thinking this. I can't tell you how dumb this conversation gets. You know why? I told you when you fired Kevin Patullo, it was irrelevant. You're doing the same shit in 26. Not deviating off it. Why would you? Expose him? I don't care. We need a real quarterback. I wrote this down. As long as Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are in the NovaCare Center, you're never deviating off of what you have right now, ever. And it will never look different. It'll never look better. It'll always be 3 yards in a cloud of dust and limited passing. And they believe in winning that way. And to their credit, they have won that way. They're not changing. You have to hope next year on health. If you're not healthy, it'll be a worse year than this year. And this year wasn't that awful. Won the division, won 11 games. But to sit here and think today that you're going to improve your offense based on what? The new freaking coordinator? Based on what? You know, that's a great question. Hey, Sills, you have made a statement saying you would never cover a shit organization as long as Nick is here without a competent OC. We're going on 2 suit. We're going on 2 be bad. How about this? It's not a shit organization. This is not a shit organization. Far from it. A shit organization are the Browns, the Cardinals, and the Jets, and the Raiders. Those are shit organizations. The Eagles are polar opposite to that. The Eagles are one of the top 3 organizations in the NFL. They're in the top 5, or anywhere you want to put them. Not a shit organization. I just say they'd leave Super Bowls on the table. So here's my take. Hurts and Sirianni have the 26th season. If they fail, I hope they get Tomlin's never coaching again. Okay? He's never coaching again. I don't believe he's ever coming out of retirement to coach again. Okay? Ever coming out and coaching again. Yeah, you have Bob Lang being a dictator to media. A shit organization. Yeah, okay, well, that's true. The guy's an asshole, and everyone knows it. And everyone in the NFL knows he's an asshole. And get this shit I'm saying here. I'm sure Xander will get a call from him. Guy's an asshole. He's been an asshole since he was in San Francisco in the PR department. Sills, teams already cracked the code to stop our offense. We were the most partially healthy. They know how to stop us, and Hurts just can't adjust. What stopped you was injuries, too. By the way, I think you're leaning on that a little bit too much. I think you're leaning on that too much. You think really that's all, that you were just injured and you couldn't get the football to the wideout? Guy had 4 seconds to throw the ball. How many times did you see Jalen Hurts have 3.5 to 4 seconds to throw the ball and he couldn't find anybody? Pass protection wasn't a problem with your offensive line last year. I didn't think so. Will somebody do me a favor? Kyle, what did the Eagles rank offensive line-wise in pass protection? I'd be interested in that. And then we'll find out a little more here. What were the Eagles ranked? And it may be bad. I don't know. What were the Eagles ranked in pass protection as an offensive line in 2025? I'd be interested. Our OC's turning away from the Eagle job because of Nick and Hurts and Eagles' power structure, or because eggs and rocks were thrown at Patullo's house. I got a topic in there for that. Yeah, I'd like to know where, if the offensive line was the reason that you guys lost so much, I'd like to know what the pass protection gradings were and what the grades were for the Eagle O-line. Man, I saw a lot of games where I saw the guy have 3 to 4 seconds back there in the pocket, and that dude couldn't find anybody to throw to. Shit, I heard Brian Dable say AJ's open all day. Here, Kyle. Kyle, is this right? So the Philadelphia Eagle offensive line that you guys keep telling me were banged up and hurt all year, they were 6th in pass protection? Can't be. Kyle, you got to be wrong. Kyle, you have to be wrong. Because if they were 6th, you're never getting better. The Eagles were 6th in pass protection. Is that correct? They were 6th. Without Lane Johnson. Okay? Were they really 6th in pass protection? Can't be. That can't be right. Kyle, I'm not disputing you here, bud. That can't be right. Okay? That can't be right. O-line injuries. This is why we weren't very good. It's an excuse machine. Okay? Let's see. Philadelphia Eagles offensive line ranked 7th in pass protection for the 2025 season, according to PFF. Whoa. Wait a minute. According to PFF, they're ranked 7th. Now, Catch is throwing it in. So, Catch and Kyle. So, your freaking quarterback had one of the top 10 pass protection O-lines in pro ball, and you're 25th in passing. That's on the quarterback, Junior. And you think an OC's coming in to do what? Make you better? It wasn't the O-line, and you didn't have Lane. Holy shit. What an epiphany that is. I thought the Eagle offensive line was down in the 20s and 30s. And offensive line, the way you guys have been talking, they're almost in the top 5. Well, what's the problem? You have one of the best pass protecting offensive lines and one of the worst passing games. Let me think. Oh, I know now. It's the shitty coordinator. Okay. You are an excuse machine for all the freaking Jalenites. So was this still a sacrificed year for next year? I asked you that question in the offseason. Do you think Howie Roseman mortgaged the 2025 season for the 26 season? You guys remember these topics that we ask you all the time in the offseason? And then all of a sudden, you guys seemingly forget that we asked all these questions. I don't fill freaking time, guys. I don't do layup shows. We put thought into our shows. We put topics out there for our shows. We just don't fill segments like freaking Harry Mays and those guys that live in Philly. We don't just put shit out there to put it out there. We make you have topics so that we can do a 4-hour show with you guys. Dude, I don't just say shit to say it. I want to hear what you think. He just can't make read, Sills. Bum juice. Dude, that's a great topic. 7th best pass protecting football team. And the coordinator's going to do what? Your quarterback had all day to throw. And that's why the coordinators don't want the job. Wasn't your pass protection. Wasn't your O-line. Wasn't Jeff Stoutland. It's the freaking quarterback. Was it the O-line that you maybe in the run game? Get this. So as you say shit to get a reaction out of the Eagle fan, you're not fooling. Wait. If you think that I sit here and go, hey, do you think this will get a reaction out of him? Or do you think I put here, I'll tell you how I do it, Texas boy, and how I've done it for 35 years. I put topics down that I think the Eagles have to work on and what I saw this year in 2025. I don't give a fuck if somebody jumps off a bench or a couch and has a response to it. I put things down on paper like this and do all this writing. All this shit here that I do. Okay? I do 7 hours of broadcasting a day, and I work 7 days a week. I don't just put shit down to get a reaction. Dumbest shit I hear all the time. You know who does that? Nobody's. It's more of a Nick problem than a Hurts problem. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Your offensive line was one of the best offensive lines in pass game. Okay? One of the best. Okay? They're one of the best in pass protection. Get this. Look at Khalid now lying. False. It wasn't. Why? Because your quarterback's being exposed because he had the 7th best pass protection in pro football and 21st best passing game. It's your quarterback, dude. Learn to live with it. No, they weren't. Look at this. Folks, no, they weren't. They weren't one of the best pass protection teams. Really. You're wrong. Facts. Misunderstood him, Sills. He agrees with you. Sorry. You know, hey, I apologize there, Junior. It's Friday. Give me a break. Maybe it is I do 7 days a week. Or 7 days a week and seven hours a day. So I'm saying Hurts is a dog poop, brother. He sucks. Gotcha, Khalid. Gotcha. I'll take that back. So you agree that the Eagles' O-line dropped off? I don't know. No, I don't. You had the 7th best passing offensive line in pro football. New OC, they just won last year. You think it's Hurts? Bro, he had all the time in the world to throw the ball. He had all the... Hey, Kyle, one last one, Kyle. Who led the NFL? I'd like to know if there's a stat that says this. Who led the National Football League in the amount of time in the pocket to throw the ball? Is there a stat for that? Because, again, I'm making a stat. I don't know if there's one. Is there a stat that says what quarterback had the most time and took the most time to throw the football in the NFL? Is there a chart for that ranks the Eagles? Okay? Thanks for not reading the whole chat. It's okay. Even if it was a sacrificed year, then who the F is going to be our new OC? Genius? It's going to fail. I got it. Jalen was number one. That can't be. There's not. Okay, yeah, there can't be a stat for that. Seals, I would a West Coast offense work with this team. Love your football knowledge, Seals. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for the supers, guys. Eskin asked Doug about AJ's situation. Doug believes that if the head coach couldn't get to him, why couldn't a player lack of leadership? Totally. Or, Abe, can I tell you this to you? See this right here? Okay, see this right here? Maybe everybody agrees with AJ, including the coach. Top quarterback, time to throw. Matthew Stafford, 2.64 seconds according to early 2025 stats. Okay? All right. So what's Sanders showing me here? Passing leaders. Oh, I see it. I got it. Next generation stats, passing leaders. Make that bigger, Z. Okay. 3.24. There's Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he was sixth. Am I correct? And the time to throw the ball in 2025. Am I reading that right? He had the sixth most time to throw the football at 2.98. Actually, there's 3.24. That's one. That's Shador. Hurts has 2.98. There's 3.02 with J.J. McCarthy. There's Lamar at 3.01, and there's Hurts. Hurts is one of the top quarterbacks with the most time to throw the ball. It's the sixth longest to throw the football in the league, right? So your O-line was ranked seventh in pass protection. The quarterback had the sixth best time to throw the football from the pocket. And you're 25th? It's your fucking quarterback. That's your quarterback. That's not Kevin Patullo. That's time to release, but doesn't measure time he had. Okay, time release. Okay. Bro. It's your quarterback. That's why these guys don't want this gig. It's not Nick. Well, it is Nick in a way because, hey, you know what Nick has done? This is where I'm going to give Nick a shitload of credit. You know where I'm going to give him a shitload of credit? He figured out the Rubik's Cube, how to win with a limited coach. So maybe that is good coaching. Hey, this guy can't do a lot, but we're going to win. And he does. I'll tell you what, who's more valuable in that process? Nick Saban couldn't figure out how to win with Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni did? Hey, I got to look at it like that too. Wait, Saban couldn't figure that out, but Nick did? Pretty good. Okay, check, Nick. Guy's limited. Nowhere near Rivers. O-line wasn't the problem in pass protection. Why does the passing game suck? He does. That's why we don't throw it a lot. Hey, listen, we're not going to overcook this thing and make it seem more than it's not. Sills Vermeil said today, if he were the OC, he would welcome working with Stoutland. Is this generation of OC? Yes, that's a generational comment, Mr. Hill. But then again, let me back up on that. I'm not firing Jeff Stoutland. I am not firing Jeff Stoutland. No freaking way. Jeff Stoutland is the second most important coach outside of the head coach in the building, next to Fangio. not firing that guy. For who? Hello Kitty? Brian Dable, Mr. Blue Tent? Get my quarterback killed? No, thank you. I got no interest in that shit. I'm 50 and 18 in 4 years. Who are you? Were you a guy that just got fired and blown out? Okay, well, guess what? We got a different way of doing shit here. You think Nick would be great if he had a real quarterback? I do. I saw it in San Diego. If Nick had his style of quarterback, he would be viewed as a top 5 coach across the league. Probably so. Wait. Well, here. Hey, Kyle. I love Kyle, man. Kyle, I need you, man. What was the best year that Phillip Rivers had? 2016 or 17? I forget, maybe 14 or 15. The year Nick was the quarterback coach there with Frank Reich when Frank was the OC. I guarantee you the Rivers-led Chargers offense was top 3. And he had a lot to do with the play design with Frank. Frank told you that here. He was a good coach there. He mainly was the wide receiver guy and quarterback guy and offensive strategist on putting game plans together for Frank Reich. I was there. I was there for the whole time that those guys were there as a coaching staff. I mean, no disrespect to you, brother, but you're absolutely correct about Hurts. Can you bring Saban on to get his point of view from the last 2 seasons? That'd be great. Tried reaching out to him a couple times. I'll keep doing it again. You know me. I don't rest until I get my guy. Here's Marsh. Stupid Nick didn't figure out shit. The talent Howie put together is the reason for the winning. You have said that. Yes. Yeah. Nick is a caboose, a.k.a. George Seifert. How about this, Marsh? He still figured out, and he knows what Hurts is. He knows what Jalen Hurts is. When you can identify talent and what they can and can't do, that's a different form of coaching. He's not X's and O's coaching Jalen Hurts like he would Phillip Rivers. He would X's and O's Rivers. Jalen, it's scheme and schematics. What scheme are we running? Not what play we're running. That's why the plays are irrelevant almost. That's why they're basic. They're the same plays over and over again, just different formations, but not a lot of different formations. There's no motion, there's no designs to cover people, none of that. It's too complicated. So what's your thoughts about running 4 verts straight into cover 4 for the season? Real great route concepts, am I right? Offensive mastermind. Irish. They run the same play over and over. They don't have a complex offense. They've got exceptional talent. Here, Irish, let me show you this. And I try explaining this. Nick Sirianni was exposed so bad in that San Francisco game, he'll never recover in my eyes. I saw a guy with nobody except McCaffrey and Purdy. McCaffrey's exceptional. Purdy's a good player. Elite? I wouldn't put him there. The roster itself was the worst roster in the playoffs, including maybe Carolina. And they beat you in your own building. Nick had no answers. That 4th and 11 play, John criticizes Sean McVay for that 4th down or 3rd down play. What about the fucking clowns on the sidelines in Philly? That 4th and 11 play when your entire season's on the line. What about that shit show? And by the way, John said something that was really smart. Well, Stafford bailed him out. Correct. Hurts can't bail you out. There is the fundamental difference. Andy Reid makes stupid plays. Mahomes bails him out. Josh McDaniels makes stupid plays. Brady bails you out. lies the difference of quarterbacks. Simple. Those quarterbacks can bail you out. I disagree. Stupid Nick does not know what Hurts is, because if he did, he would run RPOs like the smart coordinators did, but that's too much thought for a mid-minded guy like Sirianni. Listen, I hear you, Marsh. I just don't think he knows how to coach an RPO dual threat guy. Marsh, don't you feel? Listen, I don't know. You think Sean McVay can coach? Probably. I see Ben Johnson coaching one. Jared Goff's no RPO guy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate this. Let's see another savant post by this absolutely worst and stupidest football guy I've ever seen. I guess McNabb is shitty for not bailing Andy out for all those first and goal drives that were 4 passes in a row, huh? Dude, Donovan McNabb's a shitty leader and was shitty in big-time game situations. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Where are we going here? We tried to make the offense more complex versus the Chargers, and Hurts turned it over 5 times. Twice in one play. You're 7th in pass protection. 7th in pass protection. This guy's got all the time in the world to throw the ball. And your O-line you blame because the team didn't have a good year. Man, no way. You ain't pushing that on me anymore. I'm not telling you those guys weren't injured and Cam Jurgens wasn't getting murdered in the middle and Landon was banged up. But shit, Stoutland did his job. You have one of the top 10 offensive lines in pass protection, and you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard, and you can't get the ball in their hands? That's on the quarterback, bro. That's on the quarterback. Plain and simple. That's why coordinators with any juice look at that and go, screw that, man. I could have the greatest offensive line on the planet. You had one of the best offensive lines of all time in last year, and you were still 28th in passing. But it was covered by the run game. See, now what's coming up is, remember I told you, I go, hey, you have a shitty passing game. Hey, you know what the excuse was last year? Now we have a new excuse. You know what the excuse was last year? We didn't need to run the ball because we had such a great run game. Why would we? Hurts is a good runner. Okay? I mean, right? Sills, get this. Hold on. Sills Vermeil said he would work with Stoutland. This take, he wasn't understanding why these OCs don't want to work with him. He doesn't, I don't get it either. This guy just repeats bullshit. That's because that's what you're doing. You're repeating the same bullshit for 26. If it sounds the same, it is the same because it will be the same. Doesn't matter if it's Bobby Slowick who's interviewing or Billy Bob Cooter or whomever. Billy Bob, nobody. Doesn't matter. All those good play callers call plays to fit their quarterback's strengths. What shitty Nicky excuse? Can't run from it, Sells. Boils down to Nick being a bum with no answers. No, well, I agree. I don't think he's a great head coach. I said that. I think he's a great administrator, or he's starting to get there. Okay? Same. Our down years are 11 wins. Where did you coach again? Women's rugby. Then why was your coach trying to be then why was your owner almost firing your coach the last 2 years? Come again? If your coach is so good, why is your owner almost firing him the last 2 years? Come again? Any answers? Hold on. This got nothing to do with me, douchebag. When you make any decision in business, when you start failing, you say, what changed? What changed? The OC, O-line, health, Eagles need to be more proactive. Okay? That stat includes a bubble screen when pass protection is effing irrelevant. Pass protection is irrelevant? Okay. Oh, it must be a Jalenite. She says, please tell me Mike North will be. Yeah, he is. Mike North and also Philly Godfather will be with us, as always, more entertaining. By the way, Philly Godfather, that sound clip that Xander put up had over 150,000 views on it on Instagram. Huge. Let's see here. We don't go to douches. Alabama douche. Says, will you teach you football? Shut up and learn. We'll teach you football. Sills will teach you football. Excuse me. Shut up and learn. Yeah, listen. I've had, and I'm fortunate to have been around people. The stat is how long the quarterback takes to get rid of the ball, regardless of the protection. It's about how fast the quarterback gets it out, not the protection. I'm talking about the protection on what PFF ranked the pass protecting for the O-line. They said they were 7th. Hurts struggles due to his height. Completely agree. No quarterback plays for me going to be 6'1". Not happening. There's 5 dudes you can name in NFL history that were 6'1" or below. I have no interest in that. Quarterbacks, to me, have to be 6'3" or 6'2" and up. If you're not, I have no interest in it. I'm going to land more on guys 6'2" and up than I am on 6'1" and under. Hurts, Russell, Breeze, and then who? Don't tell me Vic. Vic didn't win. Vic was entertaining. Who? Bryce has won nothing yet. Let's see. I know Joe Theismann. Bro, guys, not going to debate it. There's more of a sample size of guys over 6'2" that have won than guys under 6'2". You really want to debate that? Oh, my God. Let's see, Joe. Joe's 6 feet, but Joe moved around a lot, too. How you doing, my friend? Randall Cunningham was 6'4". Nick wins. Not this guy again. I'm not going there, this guy anymore. Says, I think what we have is an organization that is willing to ride out the deficiencies of both the head coach and quarterback. Ride out. You're 50-18. Sometimes the best move is the move you don't make. Yeah. That's why when the top guys got picked, you know what they're looking at the rest of these guys? They're all the same. They could really kind of wait a little bit and maybe be a little bit more strategic. Once they weren't going to get Dable, Stefanski, or Mike McDaniel, and those guys had turned them down, now the rest of those guys, they look the same. They all look the same, right? Hurts is one of the worst intermediate throwers in the league since 2021. Out of 168 quarterbacks, 25th, 167th, 4.7, 24th, 153rd, 6.2%, 6362, or 162nd, 5.3, 22, 129th, and 21, 160. They don't have an intermediate passing game. How tall is Kelly? About 6'4". Reyes, what does he know? Still, since Cunningham, dual threat quarterbacks suck at reading defenses. Why? I think Bernie Kosar told you. I think the technology. Hey, there's a clip of Sean McVay in Matthew Stafford's ear about a play. You got to watch it. Sean McVay won't shut the hell up. And he's going over like this to the sidelines. Stop. And he goes, the guy's still going. He's just, Sean McVay, all the way up, is just talking in their ear, talking in his ear. And he's in the huddle goofing on him. This guy won't shut up. This guy, you got to look at the clip. He goes, this guy's still going. He's talking to the team. The team's laughing. He's telling, goes, go like this, go banjo route. And he's going, this guy's still going. You should hear him. He won't stop. Well, when you were in the old days, you had to go to line of scrimmage. You didn't have people in your ear. You had to figure it out. Where's the open guy going to be? Where's my pre-snap read? There it is. It's the free safety. No, it's the dime. You were smarter back then because you had to figure it out. And if you couldn't figure it out, you couldn't play in the NFL. Imagine a defensive guy talking about quarterback play. Well, the greatest of all time in pro football, according to Tom Brady, that taught him how to see the game was a defensive guy. Brady says how Belichick prepared him made him the quarterback he became. Imagine that. Imagine a defensive coach going to Tom Brady when you see too high and you see a safety walking up. What play are you going to run? What formation are you going to put us in? Brady would go, I'm going to put you in this formation. What about that safety overcoming on and trying to give you a false read on a pre-snap? He might be post-snap. What are you doing? How many times did he put that guy in that position? Why? Okay. We're talking first on the one dumb comment you made. So we're answering a question on the first stupid ass comment you made. So we're putting that to bed. Now we're on another one. You get one dumb comment a day, guy. Seals, yes, we are 50-18. But you wouldn't say you have that record because of Nick or Hurts. I think it's a combination of Howie, Nick, Hurts, health, great players, roster. Hey, get this. Great take, Sills. Why Belichick loves Ed Reed. Remember what he said? A defense, get this, okay? About quarterback. So remember this, what a defensive guy did. Remember in that when Belichick said Ed Reed is just the greatest. So what did Ed Reed do? Hey, Mr. Hill, educate this asshat. He set up Peyton Manning when he did that turn wheel, and he thought Peyton thought he was going to stick with the receiver. Then he turned, and he knew immediately that Peyton was coming backside to Wayne. And Peyton Manning said, he set me up for that interception. Belichick said, me and Brady sat there all day long watching Ed Reed set that quarterback up because he knew what the quarterback was thinking. Put that in your ass hat. Quick question. What are Hurts' biggest flaws as a quarterback, you think, Sills? Height. Inability to read defenses, which he struggles across. Here, if I were going to put a scouting report on Jalen Hurts, here would be mine. Here, let's go back and do something fun again. And I'll tell you if he's improved. Jalen, this is always one of my favorite exercises. Pre-draft report. There we go. Jalen Hurts' pre-draft report. There he is, right there. What year was this? I can't remember what year. 2020. Folks, this is 2020. Let's see if he's improved. Shall we? Okay. Let's go down here. Overview. Like Tim Tebow, I never want to be in a conversation with Tim Tebow in the NFL. But, of course, Tim Tebow was a winner, dual threat, known for strength, known for toughness, known for character. Okay? I agree. Strengths. Notice this. First thing you say in his strengths are going to be a record. Well, he did play at Alabama, and he did play at Oklahoma. Whether Jalen Hurts is there or not, Alabama and Oklahoma win a lot of ball games, whether he's there or not. So they must have a lot of talented people on the roster. Leadership. Extremely tough, durable. Yes. His experience in various schemes, multiple coordinators. That's what that means. Yes. Uses his athletic ability and strength to elude people in the pocket. I'd say that still stays there. Sure, I'm there with that. Let's go to weakness. This is 2020. This is 6 years ago. Has issues sustaining rhythm as a passer with so many off-schedule throws. Completely still the same. Inconsistent patience, allowing routes to develop. Still there. Slow recognition of earlier throw opportunities. Still there. Leaves slants and crossovers behind targets. I think he's actually gotten better at that on the slant pass to AJ. Now, is that more AJ or is that Hurts? I'm going to give Jalen the benefit there. A little better on that. Misses checkdowns. Of course he does. Still there. Opts for the harder throws instead of the check down. Totally true. Deep arm into elongated release. I think he's actually gotten better at that. I do. Needs to get better at trusting himself in the pocket. Still there. Quick to drop his eyes when pressure mounts. Still there. More likely to void the pocket than climb the pass chart and scan and throw it. All this shit's still the same. He's gotten a little better in some of it. That's the 2020 scouting report on Jalen Hurts. That's not my report. That's his report. None of that shit has changed. This is why I go back and I look how people saw a kid coming out of college. This is how you could tell if a guy got better or not. Okay? Let's see here. Hold on here. Dan Sileo doesn't like black quarterbacks. Bro, find someone else to talk about for a change. Why, I cover the Eagles. Bro, you don't frighten me with that dumbass comment. You think I'm going to hide under my desk because you're an asshole? Football Friday to me, kid. You're a box of rocks. Get the wrong guy, man. That shit don't work anymore. You better go hide on the internet with your mom's keyboard. That shit don't work. The Eagles defense and team got you there. Really good. Do you think it's a lack of coach? Yeah, I do. I do. I think it's a lack of people that are understanding of his ability more. I don't think the Eagles want to develop him. I think the Eagles want to develop Nick. Why would you want to develop Hurts? What's the point here? Here's why the OCs aren't taking this job. Nick doesn't want an OC to improve Hurts. Why? They're winning this way. Making him a better passer? How does that help our team? They're actually sacrificing the kid like they did Wentz. They don't want him any better. Why would they? They're 50-18. Nick's cracked the Rubik's Cube. Why would you want to make them better? For what? Make the quarterback better, throw more, potentially more interceptions. That risk averse is gone, and you're losing games because you're improving the quarterback? That's not what they're doing here. Why would you, listen, you guys are looking completely at the wrong thing here. You're talking about improving Hurts. Nick doesn't want to. Why? Nick wants to get healthier. He doesn't want Jalen to be a better passer. Why would he? That's not how they're winning games. They're not winning games throwing the ball. They're winning games Nick's way. So you think bringing a high-powered, that's why coordinators are going like this. They don't want to improve the pass game. That's not what they want to do. Why would a coordinator come in here unless he needs the job and put an offensive passing attack in when that's not what they're looking for? That they don't want to improve them. Improve them why? So we can start losing more games? What's the point? Okay, what's the point? Rehire Bobo Patullo. Might as well. Yeah. It's a stupid fire. Kevin Patullo would probably have been better this year. Had a year under his belt. The Eagles don't want to develop anybody at the coordinating position. This is their problem. You think I think Brian Johnson would have been better coming back the next year. Kevin Patullo might have been better coming back the next year. They fired those guys because they felt they had to, not because they wanted to. It's a stupid fire. You were 11-6. If you believe the injuries, so be it. And you have all this magical talent you think you have. You think you're players away from being there. You're not a coordinator away from being there. That's fucking dumb. Bobby Slowick is what's left. Does it matter? I mean, really. Look at it. Here, let me get my topic page. I haven't even looked at it. I mean, my first thing was 11 days and still no OC in the Eagles world. Why? Because it's a stupid job. You got to keep the offensive line, which I agree. You got to keep the formula of what we're doing, which means you're going to run 25%. Kellen Moore ran 25% of his playbook when he was here. Probably. I mean, here, let's see here. See this guy? This guy's missing it. Golden era? I think you've left 2 Super Bowls on the table. AJ and Devontae both had over 1,000 yards again. Okay. That explained to me why the passing offense is the, let's see, 7th worst passing team in football. If they both had 1,000, hey, let's take a look at something else here. Let's see here. Let's go here again. Let's take a look at this. What hurts here this year? They had the 7th worst passing attack in all of pro football. And they were both over 1,000 yards. Wow, man. Wow. How come you couldn't throw yourself out of trouble with that 4th down against the shitty 49ers? Anything? Let's take a look at this. Here. So here's Hurts. Let's go here. Let's see here. Let's go here, yards. Okay. And okay. So Hurts was 17th in passing yards. Let's see here in attempts. Hurts was 19th. Hurts was 19th in completions. Average yard per play was 20th. These are all bottom of the list stuff. Phillip Rivers is talking about as a head coaching candidate now. Yeah, I opened the program off with him potentially being the OC in Philly. Why not? Why wouldn't they just promote Stoutland to OC? Jeff Stoutland as an OC? I don't know. Funny. They need to improve the run game. Why not? I don't know why. So you love the play calling and play selection this year, Sills? Based on the quarterback? Won 11 games? Won a division? I'm not sure what you're expecting the different. Are you suggesting that there's going to be different shit in 26 with a different play caller? There was dude, you won the Super Bowl not because of your play calling. You won the Super Bowl because the play caller stopped calling pass plays. That's why you won the Super Bowl. You didn't win the Super Bowl because you had some high octane offense. You had a high octane run game. As a matter of fact, the beginning of the end of the Eagle run game started in the divisional round of the Super Bowl season. Barkley's never been the same. That season, once he got to the divisional game, it was never the same. And he's never been the same since the divisional round of the Super Bowl season. Go back and look at the numbers. I did. Ever since that divisional round, he's never been the same. Has he? You think that Saquon Barkley has been the same since the divisional round game? Because once they got into the NFC title game, they didn't need him. Got into the Super Bowl, he was okay. And then this year, he had 1,000 yards. That's 60 yards a game. Okay, well, there's about 10 backs that are better than him this past year. 9 backs. That's a good point. How many backs had a grand last year? I bet you they were guys you wouldn't believe. So who had 1,000 yards last year? This past season? How many backs? So Saquon had 1,100 yards. 1, 2. So the kid in Miami had more yards, 1,300 yards, and 5.7 a carry. Williams in LA had 1,252. The guy in Dallas had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley. And Travis Etienne and Saquon were right there at 10 and 11. Shit, DeAndre Swift had almost 1,100 yards. The kid in Carolina had almost 1,100 yards. And here's the thing. Check this out. Yards per carry. Who led the NFL? Kid in Miami at 5.7. Benson in Arizona had 5.2. Cook had 5.2. Henry had 5.2. Yeah, so much for Henry. Robinson had 5.2. Bryant Corum had 5-1. Jonathan Taylor had 4-9. Jordan Mason had 4-8. Kenny Gainwell had 4-7. Where's Barkley? Barkley was ranked what in yards per carry this year? Saquon Barkley was ranked what in yards per carry this year? 35th. Okay. He was 35th in yards per carry, Saquon. And you don't think, look, I'm not telling you play calling was great. Well, hey, Eagle, then why'd you hire him? You know why you hired him? Because it's irrelevant. Nick runs the show. Barkley broke the Eagles' playoff rushing record with 205 in the NFC title game against the Rams last year. They didn't play in the NFC title game last year against the Rams. They played against the Commanders in the NFC title game. Okay? So I said after the divisional game. He's never been the same. You did not play the Rams last year in the NFC title game. You played them in the divisional round. Played the Commanders, then you played the Chiefs. It's not been that long ago, Slager. How many yards Barkley have last game this year? 100 something? 100, maybe 15, 20? I don't remember. Missed my super, Sills. The green one. Okay. Big Z, we missed my boy Mikey here if we can. By the way, guys, I appreciate your supers, man. Thank you, Big Z. It's because we don't spread the ball around, Sills. Two guys with 1,000, a tight end with 600, and nothing else for third or fourth wideout. Here, I bring this number up to you all the time, too, about the Eagles passing game. Here, I'm going to make a point to you on a passing game, okay? Let's do this. And I'm not going to pick Stafford because Stafford's an outlier. We agree, right? So I'm not going to go there. So here, let me first show you something with the Eagles and their passing attack. Okay. I've done this before for you, but I'm going to compare it. So here's 2000 regular season. Receiving. Third wideout. 18 catches. Cooper, 9. That's 27. Covey, 2. You had 29 catches from the third wideout. Let me show you something here. Let's go to a different team. Pick a quarterback. I'll let you pick the quarterback. You had 29 total catches in 17 regular season games in Philadelphia at the number 3 wide receiver spot. 29. Do you know what that tells me? As a D coordinator, they don't throw to the slot. Let's go Mayfield. That's a good one. Let's go Baker Mayfield. Okay. Now, Baker Mayfield had Mike Evans and those guys were injured a lot. Okay. Green Bay. That's a good one. Jordan Love. Let's go to him. Let's go to Jordan Love. Let's see here. Let's go here. Jordan Love. Here's Green Bay stats. Okay. I'm talking wideouts, not tight ends. Talking wideouts. So let's see how many guys. Reception-wise. Dobbs and Watson are their main guys, right? 55 catches. Then 35 catches. Those are his main guys. So Golden had 29. Wicks had 30. Reed had 20. Williams had 10. And some dude named James had 7. So 16, 6, 7, 8, 96 passes were thrown to receivers that were the third wideout in Green Bay. Almost 100 catches. They spread the ball around. You had 29 catches for the entire year at a number 3 wideout. You don't spread the ball around. You're predictable. You think an offensive coordinator is going to come in and the offensive coordinator sees that. You don't spread the ball. You don't play West Coast offense. They were injured. Yeah, they were injured. And the quarterback could spread the ball out. Pick a quarterback. I don't care who you want to pick. And I didn't even pick Stafford. And I didn't pick Mahomes. Hey, let's go to a younger player. Let's go to Bo Nix. Let's see what Bo did. Bo Nix, you're assuming Hurts is better than Bo Nix. I'm assuming, right? I don't want to say Drake May because he's nowhere in Drake May's league. Let's go to Bo Nix. Okay? Let's go to him. And this is him this guy got hurt this year or in the game. It doesn't really matter here. Cortland Sutton and Franklin were their top 2 targets, right? Okay. Here's the other guys. Bryant, 31. Mims, 37. So that's 88 catches and 2 dudes. Humphrey, 10. 98 catches. You had 98 catches with 3 other dudes sitting in the 3-hole. You had 100 catches coming out of that. You get 29 for the entire year. Drake May, let's go there. Shit, I don't even know who Drake May throws to. Here, let me show you a real passer. You want to see the difference in passing? Let me show you this. So let's go Stafford here. You want to know what a real passer looks like? Here, let me show you what a real passer looks like. So Puka Nacua had 129 catches, and then the next guy had 60. So here's the number 3 guys. Smith, 20. Atwell, 20. Shit, they've used 2 tight ends. Whittingham, 20. And this guy, Mumford, 10. 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They had 115 catches coming out of the 3-hole. Your quarterback has 29 throws to wide receivers in the slot. You might as well not play the guy. You might as well play 10 out of 11. It's spreading the ball around. And you want to hire a coordinator that you think is going to come in and go, hey, by the way, we don't really use wide receiver 3 because the quarterback can't find them. Ugh, not this guy. Can't stand this guy. Sorry, LJ. Bryce Young sells. Bryce Young. All right. Let's go to Bryce Young. Let's go here. Let's go to Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young. See what Bryce Young did. That 3 spot. This is spreading the ball around. Here's why coordinators don't want to work in Philly. So the kid out of Arizona, McMillan and Coker. So here's the next guys. Leggett, 35. Trayman, 20. Evans, 26. That's 81. He had 81 completions out of the 3-hole. Dude, Hurts can't get a break, so Hurts can't get a break. So can he get a break once he's gone? You made your point. He's out. Wait a minute. No. No. It's not making a point. I'm talking about the OC. I'm talking why OCs don't want to come here. I've made this point 5 years ago. Now everybody, it's their opinion. No, this ain't about Jalen. This is about what they have Jalen doing. This is the OC, dude. This is why you don't have a quality guy in the building, why you hire dudes that don't have any experience. It doesn't matter. You're missing the point, as usual. You think it's a shit on Hurts. It's why they don't want to come. You're missing it, as usual, because you've got this bromance with Hurts. It's got nothing to do with it. I'm talking about your OC search that's now 11 days old. We get it. What do you mean you get it? No, you don't. I've been saying it for 5 years. What do you mean you get it? There's not a chance in hell you get it. What are you talking about? I'm talking about your OC search and why they don't want to. What offensive-minded guy? Hey, let's do this. Let's take a look at Let's take a look at Mike McDaniels and his football team of a year ago with Tagovailoa. Let's see how many wideouts it was spread out on his offense. So here's his receivers. And this guy didn't even have Jalen Waddle, did he? Or Tyreek Hill, because he got hurt early in the year, right? So let's take a look at this. 2 top wideouts. There they are. After that, Washington, 46. Weiss, 10. Hill, 25. That's 91 catches out of the 3 spot. Spreading the ball around. Multiple receivers. West Coast style. You don't run a West Coast offense. West Coast offenses is a spread offense. And they go to multiple receivers. They don't go to 2 dudes. Hey, listen, if you're Devontae Smith and you're get this, A.J. Brown is bitching about the offense. And every year he's been in Philly, he's had a grand. He didn't have a grand every year in Tennessee. Why is he bitching? He's done more in Philly than double of what he did in Tennessee in his time there. Why is he complaining? Because he knows it's not a spread complex offense to get people open. I mean, why else is he complaining? So, here, who you hire at OC is hilarious. I mean, we're hiring Bobby Slowick. Ball going around. Okay. Bobby Slowick was in Miami. So they're getting the leftovers of the Dolphins coaching staff now that you couldn't get Mike McDaniel? He wasn't even the guy with the brains down there. He was the guy that was behind the brains, right? Am I right? Was Slowick in Miami? Couldn't get McDaniel, so you're going to get the next best guy? All right. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't really give a shit who you hire. Ugh. Accidentally again. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Cam gets moved back to right guard. So wait a minute. You think you're going to move a center? And you think you're going to be good without a great center? Well, that's one of the most important positions next to left tackle that you could possibly have, is having a really good center. True, I'm just assuming and talking sick, don't know who they're hiring. That kid in Chicago is the guy that's under Ben Johnson, this Doyle guy. Sure. Again, I don't really care who you hire. It's not going to matter. When you're 50-18 and with 2 NFC titles, it's not going to matter. This is more to do with here. Why are OCs reluctant to take the job? Head coach, front office, Hurts, or fan base? Fan base is the best. Big bad Philly fan base is why I don't want the OC job. Okay. Yeah. Well, what are you doing in football then? If you're afraid of the fan base, you're afraid of your own shadow. I mean, right? If you're afraid of a fan base, you're afraid of your own shadow when you get up. Ooh. Be like M. Reyes, all afraid of my own shadow. Woo! Is that Nick or me? Front office, head coach, or the quarterback? All of the above? I don't know. Would you do it, Sills? If I didn't have a job? Yeah. If I had options? Never. I don't want to work with Hurts. And I don't want to work in the environment. And I don't mean that it's a bad environment to win. I don't want to work where I can't do my job. It's like being a talk show host. Program directors like to do this. You know the bad ones, what they do? They hire you, and then all of a sudden they bring you in, and they got these grandiose plans for you, and you're like, let me fucking do my job you hired me to do. How many guys have worked like that for? A ton. And they all blow. Hurts needs to get the ball to whoever the fuck is open. Don't buy that. Look at, hey, man, I like that player. I think that guy's up in Chicago now. Before and after. I liked him when he was also, Zacharias, is that his name? He was in Washington, too. I thought he had a good year in Washington, and I thought he had a pretty decent year up in Chicago this year. If we're being honest, we've seen Hurts see them and choose the big shots instead. Yeah, well, he doesn't have a check down game. Well, again, I don't know if that's Jalen or them or both. It's probably both. It is. So before I bring Z up, I love that stat there that he shot me here. So is that right? I want to double check, guys. So PFF ranked the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles in pass protection, number 7. Is that correct? And you were 25th in passing. So the quarterback had time to throw the ball, and the pass team and the pass protection was good, but he couldn't find it. Is that how I'm supposed to digest that? Okay. And you want me to say, why is it 11 days? Hey, this shit gets better, and it gets awesome every freaking day. I've never seen a football team give you juice like this. What's that called there? Hey, B-Pump? Bum juice. How you doing? All right, without further ado, we bring in, don't forget, my friend Mike North will be with us at 30, and then we will have the legendary Philly Godfather on a Football Friday heading into the conference title games. My boy, Big Z, Xander Krause, and how you doing, bro?
What's up, Sills? How you living, brother?
I'm living, my friend. 11 days. Where are we, man?
Yeah, who knows where we are, man? Jim Bob Cooter, Matt Nagy, Bobby Slowick. We will find out what route they go here, but I kind of like your proposal on Phillip Rivers. It just feels to me like it's so far out there that I don't even want to put too much stock in it. but I do like it, the thought process of it. I think he'd be a good fit in Buffalo too, boy.
Nick loves him. Nick respects him. The quarterback has talked on the Manning cast about, like, how he watches films and how he progression reads and how he throws the ball around. You made a comment, one of your best things that you saw this year in the NFL season. Didn't you say to Z that you said this? Hey, man, I really enjoyed watching Phillip Rivers throw the ball this year. Didn't you say that?
Yeah.
Now he's interviewing for the head coaching job in Buffalo.
Yeah, well, that was probably one of the best parts of the NFL season this year is his return. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I like the idea. I don't know that it's a great fit, but maybe it is. I mean, you think this Eagles organization is gonna go that route?
Well, what's the difference? If it's Bobby Slowick or Phillip Rivers. And plus, you know what you get? You get a quarterback who sees you think Bobby Slowick knows more about playing the position?
I'm not saying that.
I know you're not. I know. I'm saying anybody in their right mind. Now, I think it'd be to convince Phillip to do it more than whether or not they would want to do it. Phillip, you want to come in and be the offensive coordinator and help Jalen get better? Yes or no? We'll give you $3.5 million.
You think it'd be a good fit with Jalen?
I do.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I haven't heard of any interviews or anything like that. You won't hear it from the Eagles, but we'll keep.
No, I just have heard that he's interviewing for the head coach.
I do think it's interesting that he's going this route. I didn't expect Phillip to become an NFL coach. I thought kind of he chose to go the small Catholic school where he lives, and you know what I mean, with his family. But that'd be a big switch. Is he going to move all 11 of them to Buffalo or or Philadelphia? Who knows? But that's why I wouldn't take it if you're Phillip. I got 2 years in Philly.
$100 million in the bank too.
Is that what he's got?
He's got $100 million in the bank, and he lives in Alabama.
God bless
or North Carolina, I think.
Well, your money goes far in Alabama, so I think he's Alabama.
Alabama?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, 10 cents goes a long way in Alabama.
I know, man. I know. Doesn't go very far in Philly, let me tell you that much. Holy schmackers.
All right, so let's do this here. Why do you think some of the reluctancy is there? Coach, front office, fan base, or Ertz?
What reluctancy?
Okay, well, why haven't you filled the position?
Well, I think the top guys were.
Oh, so you don't think the top guys were reluctant to take the job?
No, I think they were, but I think that's part of the reason that the Eagles it's going on longer now, because when you get past the top guys, there's not as much of a sense of urgency. Like if you wanted to hire one of the top 2 or 3, you better get it done quick or you're done. Once those guys go, it's kind of like, all right, nobody's
in a hat.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to be as urgent to get the deal done. So John's pointed this out where maybe they have a little more time now to actually, interview different candidates. Learn.
Maybe there's a dude too on one of these Final Four teams.
And remember, the Eagles like to do that, dude. They like to go outside the box. I mean, Nick Sirianni was outside the box. So was Doug Peterson. That's kind of their style. But we'll see. I don't know that it's a bad thing, but I definitely think it's something to keep an eye on. And I think what we've talked about with the candidates is true. I mean, it's not the best job here, right? Right now, it's not. It's just not. And I think when you have options, it's hard to line up your pros and cons and put the Eagles at the top of the list. So we'll see what they end up doing, but my confidence in 26 is not at a high right now. I'll just say that.
Let's get the free agency, but I get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Well, you got the coach and the quarterback coming back. I mean, how much is your offense going to be different?
None. Maybe a little. Some tweaks here or there. But well, let me dissect this here for you then. Would you want to work for Nick Sirianni if you were offensive coordinator?
Wouldn't be my cup of tea.
Why?
Nick's never been my cup of tea.
Okay.
And I think he's well, I mean, in some areas he is. I respect Nick. I think he's done an all right job. I mean, I think he's got a tougher hand than people think. I know people look at the roster and think he's got the best hand, but working in Philly is not as simple as, all right, you got a great roster, now go coach them up. It's not that. Trust me when I tell you guys, it's not freaking that. I don't know. I mean, maybe he would be. I think like to answer your question though, you look at Kellen Moore. Kellen didn't run his offense. You look at Brian Johnson, Shane Steichen, and Kevin Patullo. They all were within Nick Sirianni's offense. And for people who have confidence, pride, and feel like they're good, then why would they want to come here and run someone else's offense? That's like telling Kyle Shanahan, "Hey, run this offense." Somebody would be like, "What? I'm not doing that." So I think that's probably why. But I don't think that that's all Nick. I think part of that is still the organization.
The only guy that's ever worked in Philadelphia in the Nick Sirianni regime that didn't run Nick's offense was Shane. He's the only guy that didn't run Nick's offense. Because if you remember, Xander, I want you to go back and
remember. He did run Nick's offense.
Oh, wait a second.
He did.
That's not true.
No.
You came on when you were producing behind the scenes and he was running those offenses and throwing the ball and they were 2-4. You said, do you think that Nick Sirianni, to me, you said, do you think Nick Sirianni survives even the year? That was behind the scenes. Then Shane took it over and they ran more RPOs in that 21 year. It was a completely different look after Shane took over.
Yeah, but Nick helped create it.
Well, then where'd that thing go? What happened to that offense?
What do you mean? It's the same offense. Ask every player on the team.
It is not. He does not run anywhere near that.
They don't run RPO, and the quarterback doesn't run as much now. That's what's changed. That's it.
And it's not the same offense.
Okay, but that's the only thing that's changed. The wide receiver plays. The routes everybody hates.
You can't have the R in RPO if you don't. You can't have an RPO offense if you don't have the R in it.
Same offense. I'm telling you right now. Listen, everybody says here's Skipper. Skipper says no, it's not. Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is lying. It's the same fucking offense.
The
quarterback it's the same offense every year. Run. Dude, the player changed. The offense didn't. What is hard to understand about that?
The results.
The results are
it's not the same.
The schematics did not
If you're looking at that offense and thinking they're running RPO or anybody
they're
thinks
not running RPO.
They're no shit. Well, then it's not the same offense as 22. How could it be?
Calls. It's not. They're not calling the same.
So they're calling RPO without the RPO is what they're doing right now.
No, they're calling an offense without using the RPO that's within that offense.
Then that's not the same offense.
It's just
how can it be the same offense?
It's a lesser version of it, dude. It's a
lesser version.
It's a half of it.
Right. Completely right.
That's why everybody says there's 8 plays. Why do they run the same routes? Why do they lead the league in hitch route? It's the same fucking offense with less variation. Devontae Smith said it at his locker room. This is the same offense we've run for 4 years.
Okay. Once again, though, when you run RPO, the quarterback has to be in that conversation, and he's not. When Shane was here, he had 1,700 yards rushing in 2 years. The last 2 years, he's got $1,000. I mean, that's 700 some odd yards.
Yeah, I mean, we're splitting hairs. I don't give a fuck whose offense it is. It sucks. I mean, we're splitting hairs on who made the offense. The players in the locker room say it's the same offense. I'm going to go with that. All right. Okay. I know it looks different. I think the players have changed. They call different things now because they don't rely on RPO and quarterback running as much. Now you have a dumbed down passing game without quarterback running, and you lead the league in hitch routes and all the same crap. Everybody says, where's the crossers? Where's this? Where's the mesh concepts? They don't do it. They didn't do it in 22. They didn't do it in 23. They didn't do it in 24. And they didn't do it in 25.
Okay. Here. Do you buy into the PFF that your offensive line was the 7th best pass protection football team this season when it came to pass protection?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, that pass protection never appeared to be the problem this year.
Okay.
It was the run. It was the run game where the blocking was getting tormented. And Jalen's a dual threat. So dual threats are naturally going to hold on to the football. I mean, if you look at the list of time to throw, it's all the dual threats. Even Mahomes is low sometimes. Lamar Jackson holds the ball. Guys that make plays with their legs or outside the pocket are naturally going to hold the football longer. Pass protection, though, is not a problem.
Okay. So pass protection's not a problem. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, how enticing is that for a potential offensive coordinator to want to come in and go, you know what? Pass protection wasn't the problem. He had 29 passes to wide receiver 3, complete total for the 17 games. You don't really spread the ball out. Why? How is that enticing for a guy to want to call plays in Philly?
It's not. It's not. But I mean, the success of the team, they've been successful. That's the positive. Everything you're saying is not wrong. I mean, offensive guys aren't going to want to call on that. But
and you contradict me with the wins.
Like, hear me out. Like for a guy like Bobby Slowick, it's a perfect job.
Probably
because you're right now, you're not necessarily top of mind for anybody in terms of getting an offensive coordinator position, which means you have little to lose. Okay. And you can go to a team that's going to play in the biggest games on the biggest stage and potentially go deep in the playoffs. Doesn't mean they will, but that's the potential. And when you're a guy like Bobby Slowick and you want to get yourself back in the mix, you want to get yourself back as one of the names in the NFL, that's where you go. And I think it's a perfect fit for a guy like that. For a guy like Mike McDaniel, who everybody's foaming at the mouth to hire because he's got a great offense, which he does have a good offense, doesn't have a lot of success, but he does have a good offense, which is kind of contradictory in its own right. Right. But, you don't take bad jobs because you have more to lose.
I'm not impressed with him.
I'm impressed with his offensive IQ. I listened to some interviews with him early in his career, and he there's no doubt about he has a great understanding of offensive football. That's a lot different than being a coach and putting it into play and executing and winning football games. But I'm pretty impressed with him offensively.
Okay, see, it's cool that he's smart. It's wonderful that he's got all that knowledge and he's smart. But what's the sense of having all that knowledge and all that smarts when the quarterback fucking doesn't know what you're talking about? If the quarterback doesn't know what you're talking about and you have all these concepts and you see
I don't think it's that. I don't think he doesn't
really
know.
Well, then why isn't this guy won more?
No. Oh, you're talking about – who are you talking about?
McDaniel.
And Tua or McDaniel with Jalen?
I'm talking Mike McDaniel, anybody where he's won. I mean, when he was even
who are you saying doesn't know what he's talking about?
Like Tagovailoa. So with all this great knowledge of his, don't you think Tua should have been better and the team should have won more?
Well, you could also make an argument that Tua, did a lot more than he would have anywhere else.
Now, Armando said that to me. Armando said he got the most out of Tua.
Yeah, they had a 70-point game. I mean, they've had some pretty big offensive moments. I mean, they couldn't get right on defense, and a lot of that was because their personnel was just a bunch of, everybody had a hot head, everybody had a big. I mean, how do you get Vic Fangio, one of the best coordinators in football, and nobody, your defense sucks, and nobody in the defense is happy with the coordinator, and that's why they suck. It's like, can't you guys look in the mirror and say, yeah, maybe we should listen to the guy who's got, a lot of experience and knows how to call defense. But that's their problem. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge
I'm all right with that
guy. So I don't really think – it's not like he left Josh Allen, I mean, I don't know. So I think he's a good coach. But and to be clear, I don't think Jalen wouldn't know what he's talking about. I think just Jalen would struggle with the execution because it's never been the style of ball he's played. It's not what he grew up playing. It's not what he grew up learning. It's not how he dominated his way through high school and college. That's not how he played. So you got to think, if you've been doing something your whole life, I'll ask anybody of you, it's like changing the stripes on his, you know what I mean? You're not going to change somebody now. I don't think he wouldn't understand that. I actually think Hurts has a great understanding of a lot of different offenses. I mean, he's had so many playbooks, so many coordinators, so many different, it's almost like he must have seen it all by now. So I think he's got a good understanding. But, understanding is understanding. Playing is a different thing.
I think that's actually a positive in some ways where you've seen so much that you can adapt and put things in the room. So let me ask this one now. Would you want to play for this front office? I mean, would you want to coach for this front office if you're an OC?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have players.
Me too.
I'm going to have players.
I got the Jimmies and Joes.
Head coach is a little bit of a different scenario because you got to report directly to them. But ask Vic Fangio if he's happy here in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, hell yeah, I had great defenses because they get me great players.
And when I didn't have it, I went and got Phillips. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think for a coordinator, yeah, I mean, you're going to get talent. You're going to get the guys around you. They're going to keep trying to get better. It's the best part about Howie, in my opinion.
Great top.
Try and get better, but I think there's I don't know, man. It's tough to gauge because, like, how many different things could it be that our offense sucks? You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, but I don't buy that the personnel is not that good. All right, I don't buy that.
Who said that?
John says it every fucking day. He says you guys overrate the personnel.
No, okay. Well, I know when I see a stud.
All right, so
and you know what?
Let's just go by process of elimination here.
Wait a second here. I'm going to give you an old school Bear Bryant. You see that number? Stud. You see that number out there? Stud. You see that? Say stud. There'd be so many studs, you'd think you were on a horse ranch.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you just go by process of elimination, though, after that comment, it's like, all right, can we all agree it's not the talent, right? We don't think there's a talent problem on offense. Execution, I think, is a fair. I do think they didn't execute well. All right, I think that's fair. I think the coordinator was a stiff, but you got to go beyond the coordinator this year because the offense wasn't great passing the ball with Kellen Moore. The offense wasn't great passing the ball. They were better in 23, but they still weren't. They've never been a prolific attack. And these concerns that the fan base has had have been every single year with the offense. So, I don't know. How many different things can it be, guys? Right. If Josh Allen, if the Bills suck on a given game in the offense,
it's over.
Everybody in the comments says Josh Allen blows. If the Chargers who get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, who have one of the worst offensive lines in frickin' the last decade, if they get bounced, everybody comes and says, oh, Justin Herbert didn't get the job done. But then apparently, like in our own city, when our offense doesn't get the job done, we try and come up with the most extravagant problems with the offense. I don't think Hurts played that well this year. I don't think the coaching was all that good this year. And I don't think the players execute. I don't think A.J. Brown executed at a high level this year. I don't think Devontae Smith executed at a high level this year. I don't think Saquon Barkley. I don't think Cam Jurgens. I don't think Landon Dickerson. Add all those things together, and guess what you got? The Eagles' offense, one of the ugliest in football.
Here. Okay, to that point then, if you're the OC, you're saying the front office is good because they're going to give me talent. But does the talent overcome the restrictions that I have to deal with for me to take that job, to make that job a good one for me? You may give me all the players, Sander, but if I can't fucking use them, what's the point of having all those players?
That's directly quarterback related. I mean, look, different quarterbacks spread the ball around in different ways. You can acknowledge that Jalen Hurts has done great things in his career. You can acknowledge the success that he's had. You can acknowledge how good he was in 22 and 23. You can acknowledge those things. I have no problem with that because that's objectively true. But what you have to also submit and agree to is his style of quarterback doesn't spread the ball around. That's why when you look at the box scores in Philly, it's not an eight receiver long list of guys who got targets. That's not his style. You go to Brock, it's not even a criticism. It's just a simple style of play. It's not a criticism. It's not even grading how he does. It's simply certain quarterbacks get 6 playmakers involved. Certain quarterbacks don't. Jalen doesn't. It's the same problem with him in Alabama. It was less about Jalen not being good and more about they had their best assets on that football team were weapons, were wideouts. If you're not going to get your best weapons to football consistently, then you're going to be lesser of a version of what you could be if you did get them the ball. That's the reality.
So what you're saying is some of the things that are hindering the job is style of play. Completely style of play.
Are we breaking news here? Yeah. We've been
Okay.
saying this for every day. I feel like I'm going blue in the face. We've been saying this so much.
Okay, so then it's the quarterback.
It's partly the quarterback. Yes.
Partly.
Well,
You
let me
play-
ask you.
You play that style because
Let me ask you, if Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson block better this year, and Saquon Barkley, runs for 1,600, are we having these same discussions? Probably not. Now, that's not to say that it makes Jalen Hurts something he's not. It just means that the collection of talent that they have on the offense produced a different result.
So the way I'm going to dissect that is, and we're going to use Josh Allen, Hurts has to have more around him go right for it to win.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And Josh doesn't.
Well, Josh does too, because where's Josh's, trophy?
Josh doesn't have Devontae Smith and AJ
I'm aware, but Josh also doesn't have the accolades that Jalen does.
because he's around really great players too.
I'm aware of that, but if Josh doesn't have the accolades, not around the talent, then doesn't that imply that Josh also needs the talent to win?
Yeah.
He can be great.
Sean McDermott said that and why he got fired. That's one of the reasons.
So I don't view it as a great knock on Hurts that he needs talent.
No.
I think here's what I think about Hurts.
This is why he got fired.
I think when the variables fluctuate, and when I say variables, I mean offensive talent on a year-to-year basis or week-to-week basis, offensive line on a week-to-week basis, your proficiency in the run game on a week-to-week basis. When those variables change, Hurts doesn't have as big of an ability to make up for the.
Right, he can't throw you out of trouble.
Yeah, like some other quarterbacks do. I don't view it though as every other quarterback doesn't need the talent. They do too. The only one you can say doesn't need the talent is Mahomes. He's the only guy.
Okay.
I know.
Well, like I said, the guy in Buffalo, in one of the criticisms that McDermott had for the entire ownership and the GM, Brandon Beane, who I think is a bum, they don't put enough talent around the kid.
Listen, I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in football. I'm not
criticizing
Josh Allen.
Okay, and again, so if Cam Jurgens is not healthy, or if Landon Dickerson's not healthy, and if whatever, the coordinator sucks, Hurts ain't going anywhere. Well, I mean, is that right? Is that fair to say?
Well, he's mediocre if you make him a passer. And here's the problem with this on offense right now. It works when it works, but the NFL changes quick. The NFL adapts quick. And what I saw this year was defenses identified very quickly. Let's do everything we can to take away the run game. Part of the reason the offensive line wasn't good this year is because they were outnumbered. 5 guys are never going to block 8 guys, 7 guys. They're never. It's a numbers thing. You're not going to block 8 dudes with 5 dudes. I don't care if you got, behemoths out there. It's not going to happen. So what I think happened this year is there was a lack of evolution when the running game was taken away. Maybe that's because of the ability. Maybe it's because Kevin Patullo had no answers. Maybe it's because Nick. I don't know. If I knew, maybe I'd be a football coach making $10 million. I'm not. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where else you go from here.
Okay, I got a question for you then here too. Will Hurts be better or worse in 26?
Well, the number one point I've said consistently for the last couple of weeks on our shows is my number one question of the offseason is not the OC. It's not free agency. It's not the draft. It's none of those things.
Okay.
My number one question is what style of quarterback? Not how good is he going to be? What style of quarterback are you getting?
Okay, well, I'll ask a different question. I'll ask it a different way. You think he's going to evolve in 26?
I don't know. I like what Jason Cole said yesterday. He said, I got news for everybody in Philly. You don't get faster the longer you play in the NFL. Okay.
That's
you don't, your athleticism doesn't increase.
You don't all of a sudden have a bigger arm.
Yeah. Like these are things that, especially, athleticism and speed. It's like, dude, your body gets beaten up over the years. You get slower. That's what happens. It's not vice versa. So, if he's going to run the football, I don't think he's going to be the runner he was in 22. He was a damn good runner and playmaker in 22. I don't know that that's in there. So, honestly, yeah. My concern is the best of Jalen Hurts in the rearview mirror. That's a real concern. And I think most Eagle fans who are honest and, who don't, I don't know, who objectively view football would have that same concern. It doesn't mean it's going to be correct, but I think that concern is very fair. Is his best football behind him? Because when he dominated, when he was an MVP candidate, so much of it was created by what he was able to do to teams off script, with the legs, even throwing the ball from out of the pocket, all these different things. He very rarely throws the ball downfield from out of the pocket. He mostly throws it away. He doesn't run the football like he used to. His rushing yards were 40 or 45% of what they were at their peak in 22 this year. They called a designed quarterback run this year the lowest number in his professional football career. These are trends. These are things that you look at and say, are they going to all of a sudden come back? And I'm not saying it's a guarantee they don't, because, hey, maybe it was the coordinator. Maybe it is the style of offense with Saquon. Maybe they do change and go back the other way. But it's fair to look at the trend and say, is that style of play, is that player who was prolific in 22, is he gone? Maybe. By the way, I'm asking the same question about A.J. Brown. I'm asking the same question about Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. Saquon Barkley.
So I thought it was interesting when our boy Howard Eskin had Doug Peterson on. Has asked a question about the A.J. Brown situation and how he would handle it. And he said, boy, and I'm paraphrasing here, sounds like a lack of leadership inside the locker room there a little bit.
He's right. I'm happy Doug said it. I mean, why?
Is that on the coach? Is that on the coach? Is that on the quarterback? Is that on the rest of the team? Who would you put that on?
One would be the coach. And then number two, though, if somebody's in that locker room and they deem themselves as a player with pedigree, as a player that should be one of the leaders that deserves a captain on their chest, then it's on them too. That certainly goes for Jalen Hurts. I mean, anytime you're a top-paid quarterback in football, you get a big deal. The whole organization is relying on you. You're the face of the franchise. You're the face of Jordan. You're the guy. Absolutely, it comes on you. I think coaches first, and I think quarterback second, and I think anybody who is a leader on that football team, it's them too.
Can I kind of counter that a little bit with what Doug's saying? For me, well, if you're saying that everyone has to speak up, maybe it's because everyone agrees with AJ.
Well, it's not. I don't know if it's about speaking up.
Like, leaders speak up, dude, don't they?
No, I agree, but I don't know that that's the problem. Is my point. Like, and I can't pinpoint exactly what the problem is, but I don't feel like it was that nobody wanted to speak about it. To me, it feels like it was in an environment when you have a relationship with someone and it's like, there's a problem, but it's like never addressed. It's never said. You like walk on fucking
heavy air when you walk in the room.
Right. I wonder if that's a little bit of what happened.
So you think it infected the locker room a little bit with the environment?
Yeah, I do. And then the other thing I think about, and
I might buy that. Yes, sir.
I know fans don't like it because they never like a report if it doesn't go their way. That Mike Silver report's interesting. For Mike Silver to report that Hurts was one of the sources of animosity in the locker room.
From San Francisco, he reported that.
If he's going to report that and then also say it also rubs players the wrong way, that the leaders, the front office and the head coach walk on eggshells around that player. We talked about this when that report broke. I put that on them. I don't put that on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' job isn't to make sure the coach is holding him accountable. That's the coach's job. It's not my job to tell you how to be a coach. You're the fucking coach. I'm your quarterback. If you got something to say, then say it. If I'm a problem, say it. But if that report is true, can't you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, Nick has a lack of balls to address his players.
Right. Hot air in the locker room. Players who see a problem and it's not being addressed by the leaders. And then you have a combustion at the end of the year like they did.
Now, do you think
that's surprising to me?
Now, wait. Now, do you think that that's part of the restrictions that are placed on Nick, that he's not and isn't going to go knee deep in on people
Maybe.
because he knows the owner loves the kid.
Jeffrey Lurie loves Jalen.
Okay, right.
Love
And
him.
right. And Howie and those guys paid him the $250 million. Maybe Nick is walking around on eggshells because guess what? Maybe his hands are tied also with that.
Potentially. And those are things we don't know right now. But
Because we got to give him the benefit too if we're going to give others the benefit and things, right?
Well, this is an unintended consequence of the Eagles running the team the way they run the team. They do a lot of things well, and they've been very successful. But they have this weird thing where nobody. They have to keep everything secret. They try and belittle people if you step out of line. We've seen it, from the PR guy directly. The reporters in the room have to walk on eggshells because they could get their credentials stripped. This is the setup of the Eagles organization. That has unintended consequences that permeate throughout the building when that's the mentality of the people upstairs. That is their mentality. Maybe it's infected the coach a little bit. Maybe it started to infect even Jalen Hurts a little bit. I don't know. I think that's a part of it.
I think we've had 2 good days of discussions on this without a doubt, bro. All right, let me get to this. Hey, by the way, we'll take your supers in a second. Please hit the like button. AFC title game.
Oh, yeah.
How about this? Sean Payton. Do you look at that Patriots team and do this? Hey, man, boy, I'll tell you, that Patriots team, they are so on a heater right now. Boy, that Patriots team, man, does that thing look like it's just so great. How come I look at this game coming up and Sean Payton, I keep thinking of him and going, man, I think that Denver team is going to make this thing a close game and a one-possession ball game. And this would be a feather in this guy's career in coaching if he could get to the Super Bowl here with nobody at quarterback. It'd be like Doug Peterson kind of shit here. And it would
it'd be almost – well, it's a shorter run.
Yeah.
Stidham isn't as good as Foles. I mean, Foles did have some – 7 touchdown game. Like he did have some moments in his career.
He was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. So I think they are slightly. Let me look up this. Jarrett, did he play at Auburn? Jarrett Stidham? Why don't I remember him?
I think so.
No, yeah, Baylor and then Auburn. That's where I remember the skip from. Fucking dude went to Auburn. Now they had double Auburn quarterbacks over there in Denver.
Holy shit! They got 2 Auburn quarterbacks in Denver.
Wait, it's funny. Auburn and Oregon, isn't that where? Or no, Baylor for Stidham.
Yeah,
Oregon. Bo Nix, they go to Oregon though.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
All right, so let's look at Stidham. What has he done in his freaking career? He's got 1 game in his 20 games in his career. I don't know how many he's played in.
3.
Not very many.
Let's see here.
1-4 QB record. It says 8 touchdowns, 8 picks. 1-3. He's only played in 4 games, really. Well, I think the Patriots are going to win. But to answer your question, I completely agree. Some of the teams that were super hot earlier, even late in the season, are not hot right now. Sileo frozen, or is it me? Yeah, so he's frozen. Hi, Sales. Yeah, fucking frozen. Sales is frozen. The teams that were hot at the late in the year, the Rams, Patriots, they're not hot anymore. None of them are hot. Like, I think their Seahawks are the only. Oh, wait, are you back?
We got to go.
You're frozen, my guy. Let me boot him out of here. I can't even boot him out of here. But anyway, back to my point. If Sileo ever returns in the green, I don't know what he's doing. The Seahawks are the only team that's hot left. I mean, the Rams looked really good at one point. Then they lost like 2 of their last 3 games. They didn't look all that great in the 2 playoff games that they played so far. The Patriots, as good as they looked earlier in the year, I don't think they've dominated their way. I mean, I don't think they're that impressive. How many turnovers did they have last week? So the playoffs are interesting right now, and it's like it kind of resembles the NFL this year, where there was a lot of parity, but not a really great playoff here. or 4 teams left. I mean, the NFC game is awesome. The AFC game is pretty weak, is what I'll say. So I got the Rams, and I had the Patriots. We'll see who Sileo has if he ever returns from Mike North. Mike North will be coming up. What's going on, everybody in the chat? I am not Dan Sileo, but I'm going to host the National Football Show until he returns. Big games this weekend. A lot of talk about this Eagles football team. A lot of coordinator talk that we've had here on the show. You know, I don't know, folks. I was trying to be honest. I don't feel as though that this team is in the best spot to go back and compete. Now, we got a long offseason in front of us. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do to correct that, but it doesn't feel right now. It doesn't feel right now like the bones of this team are good enough to make it happen. But we'll see. Let's see. I got Big Sills back.
Yeah, froze up on me a little bit there, man. Yeah, so
I was saying I like the Patriots to win the game, and I like the Rams to win the game. Those are going to be my 2 picks, but I'm only picking the Rams because of Pat Callahan, not because I think they're better. I think the Seahawks are playing better right now, and the 2 teams still like all the teams left. They were pretty hot at the end of the season. Don't you feel like they've all cooled down? The Patriots weren't super inspiring in their first 2 playoff wins. You look at the Rams, they lost 2 of their last 2 regular season games, and they also didn't really win in convincing fashion. In either of their playoff games, they barely squeaked by the Panthers, and they barely squeaked by the Bears in overtime last week. I don't feel like they're playing all that well. The Seahawks are the team right now that's been dominant. So I think they're going to win, but I'm taking the Rams for my boy Pat.
So how about this? I want to go back to the AFC title game. So you got the Patriots getting out of that.
I do. I do think you're 100% right, though. It's going to be a football game. All right. I do. I think it's going to be a football game. And expect that Denver defense to play with their hair on fire because they're already a sick defense, one of the best pressure teams in the league, best sack team in the league. They're going to be like a bat out of hell. At least I think.
What about this? Do you think it's low scoring or high scoring?
Pretty low. I think.
Yeah. Well, doesn't that favor Denver then?
Absolutely. Yeah. The question will be, can they get to 20 with Stidham?
See, that I just put
down, get the 20.
I just put 2017 down with I put 2017
The Eagles couldn't get to 20
against the Niners.
With nobody on the Niners had practice squad guys. They elevated guys from the practice squad the week of the game. He scored 19 offensive points. John tells me the defense was a bigger problem in that game. Oh gosh.
Yeah, no, that's not how I saw that either, brother. I didn't see it that way. All right, NFC title game. You go to Seattle. Now here, follow me here. Matthew Stafford, dude, and that offense. And their defense isn't bad as well. And that Seattle defense, boy, I think Seattle takes care of business. I think they take care of business and win this ball game.
Yeah, I think you're right, but
I got you. I'm rooting for Pat too here with this, but dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment. I think the Seattle Seahawks are the better team right now. They're playing better. Their defense is vicious. They've really played good football, and they're the only team that's really hasn't made mistakes. I mean, for all the knocks on Darnold, I mean, you're not seeing a whole lot of mistakes right now out of them. So they're definitely positioned to win the game, but we will see, man. The Rams are, in my opinion, like the one team that was a bad matchup for the Seahawks.
Yes.
Because they have the great equalizer and the quarterback who's Matthew Stafford, obviously, I think one of the best quarterbacks in football still, even at his age. I mean, love watching him play, man. Love watching him throw the ball around the yard. Love watching the way he gets through his reads, progressions. I mean, the guy's just a great thrower of the football. Got a sick arm, by the way. I think his arm is underrated. As highly rated as it is, you hear people talk about Aaron Rodgers' arm, and I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Rodgers, the arm, but I think he's closer to Aaron Rodgers' arm than people think. He's got a fucking cannon, dude, and he's deadly accurate with the football. So I think Stafford's the
dude. I think Stafford reminds me of a young Rivers. The way he throws the ball,
really young.
well, no, like a young. Hey, Rivers at 37.
Phillip's arm wasn't as big as Stafford's. Phillip never had a huge arm. He had that.
Eli didn't. Yeah, Eli didn't.
Phillip had that unconventional style, the flick of the wrist type of thing,
like a shot put.
Yeah, right. I mean, he never had a huge arm, but where Phillip was amazing was at deadly
Read.
accuracy and reading the defense, man.
Yeah.
Just knew where to go with the ball immediately. And the craziest thing about Phillip is, and the thing I enjoy the most this year is, earlier in the season, a great video for anybody who loves football. Like I highly recommend you watch it. You probably already saw it. There was a clip that went viral on a press conference earlier this year, and it was of Kirk Cousins when he started to start. And somebody asked him about, progression reading. And the way he broke down the way the game has changed and how it used to be so based on pre-snap, post-snap reads, and more, it's so much more now built on your progressions because it's impossible to know what defenses do post-snap. This is all Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is the architect of the post-snap changes after the snap. And that's why so many defensive coordinators follow and try and run Vic's scheme, because he confuses the ever-living shit out of quarterbacks. And then you see Phillip Rivers come off the couch after 5 years. And a guy like Kirk, who's, obviously a great reader of defenses, that's the way he buttered his bread. Phillip, it's like he didn't miss a beat, dude. I mean, he knew exactly where the defense – it didn't matter who they played, and it didn't matter. They played against the Seahawks defense.
I know they did.
One of the best in football. He still threw the ball, perfectly. It's amazing the way that guy knows the freaking game.
We're going to get to your supers in a second. You think Christian Parker takes Nakobe Dean and Jalen Phillips with him to Dallas?
Who? Nakobe and who?
Jalen Phillips.
Ooh. Nah, they're not going to pay big money to him. They tied it up.
They need an edge rusher.
I know, but I think they're going to draft one. I mean, that guy, is any Dallas Cowboy fan in here? How did Ezeraku play this year?
I didn't think he was that bad. I think didn't he make the all-rookie team?
Did he? I thought he had a decent year.
I thought he made the NFL all-rookie team. The kid from BC, right?
Yeah, BC, yeah, Boston College.
I thought he made that. Defense, Abdul Carter. No, he didn't make it. Oh, yeah. No. I'm the wrong guy. I'm thinking of the kid in Seattle. He didn't make that. By the way, John Campbell made that all-rookie team.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah. Good for him.
I don't remember what he did this year for Dallas.
I mean, I could certainly see Nakobe Dean going there. And by the way, I think Nakobe Dean would be great there because they got 3 good defensive tackles. Nakobe Dean is at his best when you have good defensive tackles. He's a good player otherwise anyway, but when you have great DTs that play great, it's amazing. I'm going to read you a stat real quick. Let me find it. Take me 2 seconds.
By the way, guys, we're going to get Mike North on, and we're going to read all your supers here in a second.
You're going to like this, though.
I can't wait to see what happens this weekend because I got a feeling that Denver team.
By the way, can I just say one thing? I know a lot of people are shitting on the organization this week and the GM and the owner and some of the comments that were made. I absolutely love that they had the stones to bring Phillip Rivers in for an interview. I did. I haven't heard his name.
I think that's out of the box. Wonderful.
Me too. Out of the box thinking, it's a genius. You got a quarterback who you're trying to maximize. Josh Allen, for as good as he is, let's call a spade a spade.
Wow.
Son, got some things to clean up.
Bro, Josh Allen and Phillip Rivers working together would be dynamite.
Imagine, because where I think Josh needs help is 1, the turnover stuff.
Yeah.
And 2, does he read the defenses like he could in terms of he's another guy that's so athletic. Sometimes it's easier to break contain and just go get the ball, go run.
And you know why it's perfect?
Him?
You know why it's perfect? Phillip's not athletic running.
I know, right?
He's
so he's going to help him in all the other stuff.
From the pocket what he needs. I actually like that hire.
Me too. Here is, give me 1 second and I'll get it for you. All right, you ready for this stat? There's 4 teams remaining in the NFL, guys. We all know this, the 4 playoff teams. The Broncos were number 1 in the NFL in pressures from their starting defensive tackles.
Oh, internal pressure.
Internal pressure. Broncos were number 1. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 3, the Los Angeles Rams. Number 4,
No way.
the New England Patriots.
That's why Carter
Who
and
played
Davis.
like shit in our game on versus the 49ers?
Carter and Davis, man.
Davis didn't play like shit. Carter
No.
played like shit.
Carter did. Wow.
Pretty amazing stat.
That is
See,
wonderful.
this is where when Jerry made that trade.
That's right.
And
Quentin Williams.
John was ripping him, and I get it. You got rid of Micah Parsons.
Bro,
I said Dallas was smart because their defense, when your defense sucks, having a great edge rusher is not that great. When you have a great defense, adding an edge rusher is the ingredient you need. Dallas's defense sucked. So what's more important to a defense that sucks? An edge or interior tackles?
because Mozzie stunk. They went and got
stunk.
Williams.
They got
And
Williams.
guess what? When
And
Mozzie,
Kenny Clark, dude.
that's right.
And Osa. They paid Osa.
That's
They
right.
got a good interior. That's why
That's
I thought.
right.
That's why I thought.
I think the Cowboys got better too. People don't want to hear that though because they lost Parsons. I get it.
Yep. So
I
that's
get
pretty impressive stat, though, isn't it, man? The top 4 defensive tackle pressures.
That's a great poll by you, dog.
All 4 teams postseason. All right, you ready for the Supers?
Yeah, let's get the
So we
Super.
got North coming up. NJ, what's up, NJ? Like that, dude. Is that a new logo? You got the Italiano flag going through it. You got the fish, the skull. Man, that's fire.
I like it.
I'm waiting in the mail. Every day I check the mail to get my NJ fishing merch. It never showed up. I'm just kidding. I love you, NJ. Xander wanted to laugh at Sills' face when he froze up. Yeah, it was good. I was laughing. Me too. Hey, you froze on a normal face this time. Marshall said, that's a BS take, Xander. You got to pick a team and get off the fence. Come on, man. Hey, Marsh, nobody's had more bullshit fucking takes than you this week, my guy. You're going through hell or high water to defend your boy. All right? The offense stinks, Marsh. Accept it. Take your medicine, Marsh. Take it. Love you, brother. Here's Mr. Hill. Stills, with all this content, please get Sal Powell on if you can. That'd be good.
We will. I know Sal Powell well.
Here's John. Xander, if Barkley had 1,600, they're not passing for 2,903. Well, he had 2,500 last year, and they passed for 2,903.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what John. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's
more or less. How much lower can it get than 2,903, man?
Dude, the running back almost had 2,900 yards. He went with the playoffs. Come on, man. He's got to get more than 2,903 and 18 TDs.
All right, here we go.
2,903 and 18 TDs.
Marsh again. Absolutely, Xander. You can't change a QB. Big facts, bro. There you go, Marsh. Now you're getting it, Marsh. Appreciate it. Here's John. They do run RPO. Hurts just doesn't run. Thank you, John. That's correct.
Right. That's why it's not the same offense.
How many times you see a read option in this offense? By the way, the number one play that got criticized this year, next to the hitch routes this year, was the inside zone run play. You know what happens every time that inside zone happens? Jalen Hurts decides to hand the ball off.
And they flood the zones.
You didn't know that. It's the same offense.
Hey, and they flood the zones and still run the same freaking play. It doesn't make sense.
Here's Marsh. You're not making sense, Xander. It's not the same offense. Yes, it is, Marsh. Yes, it is, Marsh.
Marsh, I'm with you.
Here's Alfredo. Had time to throw the ball, but OCU can't scheme.
Okay.
Alfredo's another guy. I mean, he will come up with anything
to defend.
He had time to throw, but he didn't throw, and it's all the coach. I know.
Alfredo. So he had
coach could have been better.
Yes, I agree. Wait a minute, Alfredo. He had all the time in the world to throw the ball, but he couldn't find a guy to. I mean, bro, I that just don't make sense to me. I don't get it. Right?
Sometimes I don't know. But look, I think every Eagle fan, all right, should take a deep breath. And there's a small chance that we are good next year.
Yeah.
As we stand here on January 23rd, there's a big chance that the offensive caboose is back. And that goes for the whole offense, by the way. I'm not going to let me put it on one player. But that offense was the caboose of this football team.
It's the same shit. It's
it's
Groundhog Day, man.
Yeah, I know.
Every freaking year.
Sometimes I try and talk myself into things. Right now, I'm having a really hard time. Like, before the playoff game, when I was like doom and gloom, like 2 weeks prior, and then like the playoff week came, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna win. The Eagles got the pedigree. They always win in the big moments." That was like me manufacturing as much optimism as humanly possible, going to the depths of hell to drag myself to be able to say something good on the week leading into the playoff games, so that wasn't the curmudgeon. I wasn't the target of all the arrows. I can't do it anymore. I don't see it.
Do you think they're going to win more than 10 games next year?
Yeah, I do. They've never lost more. They've never won less than that. The first year they won what?
Yeah, but that's okay. That was the first year. They made the playoffs. You think they win more than 11 games?
Can I answer that question like in June after we get the draft?
Yeah. Yes.
I think they win more than 10. I do.
You think they repeat as division champs?
See, that's going to be tough. That's going to be an interesting conversation this year because the Giants aren't going to be competing yet, I don't think, but they're going to be better.
Yep.
Like, those games aren't going to be a walk in the park. They weren't this year. We split. I mean, shit, who we kidding? We split with the fucking New York Giants. Everybody still tries to tell me.
The Cowboys had a better division record than the Eagles this year.
Yeah, they were good in the division. Cowboys, I think, are going to be better. Well, let's see what they do with George Pickens.
You think Washington bounces back with a shitty schedule?
So I think Washington finishes 4th in the division.
No way.
But I think they're going to be better than they were last year.
Oh, so then you think the NFC East will be better?
Yes, that's my whole prediction. Dude, you got burned on your Commanders take last time, and the young gun was right.
Okay, I will promise you this.
I
will tell you
this. The young gun was right, everybody.
I'll tell you one thing's for sure. If you think Jaden Daniels is not going to be a good football player in the NFL,
never said that.
You will be sadly mistaken.
No, but I will tell you this. That dude.
That ain't CJ Stroud, bro.
Yeah, you know what else? You know what that dude is?
What?
A fucking twig.
Okay. We will see how he plays this year.
I think he's a great.
I'm not the only guy that says this about him.
I'm not saying you're wrong about him. My take on him has nothing to do with skill set.
So you don't believe that they're going to put people in that organization this year and make deals? I want to see, you know what? I think they do have a tough road, but I also think this. I saw the San Francisco 49ers get a shitty schedule and win 12 ball games and beat you. So I think Dan Quinn's the wrong guy there, though.
Yeah, he's a stiff. And by the way, they built the team like a bunch of stiffs. Remember when everybody was like, "Oh, the next best GM"?
They had to because of the nightmare of
shit. They got every old guy on the market.
25 years of Daniel Snyder.
Oh,
wait a second. You think you're going to fix that in 1 year with Josh Ayers?
No, I think they made all the wrong moves that led into this season where they went back to earth.
They've got older players in there because they didn't have draft picks.
In fact, we got the perfect guy coming up next, Mike North, a team that just elevated deep into the playoffs for the first time. They were, a 4 or 5 win team last year. Don't make the moves the Commanders made. Hire every 30-plus-year-old.
They got veterans. Every guy in that old line was a veteran. They got a guy from the Rams. They got a guy from Kansas City. All of those guys were plug-and-play dudes in Chicago.
Now, I understand that. The O-line's different. When you look at the moves that the Commanders made, they got older at every position. They regrouped their team with every old guy they could find. Anybody with a brain looked at that and said, that's not going to work.
When you have shitty players because of management prior.
I agree with that. It's tough. It was a tough scenario. I'm not saying it wasn't.
Okay.
But
and for the first time in 25 years, they got to a conference championship game with
how
that quarterback.
How many years in a row have they drafted in the top 5 or top 10?
Okay. Like I said, I want to see what they do this year in this. Let me ask you this. You go out there and you get that kid from Ohio State and you put that kid from Ohio State with Jaden Daniels and you put him on the other side. Yeah.
Carnell Tate.
Yeah, you put him with Terry McLaurin. You got both those two dudes with those two guys playing wideout.
Well, they
got a different room there, dude.
They just paid Terry, so it's going to be a tough swing to
Oh,
draft.
wait, that's a rookie contract. That's not
I
going to
agree,
be a
but
big money.
that's a premium asset. It's not about the contract. It's about the
Okay.
asset. Do they need off defensive
I'd
linemen?
probably go OT left
I
tackle.
mean, who are their defensive linemen? Javon Kinlaw and Deron Payne. I mean, they're both got to be close to 30.
Yeah, they got to get.
So they probably got to regroup the trenches. But all right,
got,
man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think the NFC East will be better next year for sure. But
so you got going to the Super Bowl? Who?
Patriots.
Give
me the Rams. Give me Stafford and give me the Rams. Although I do think Seattle's playing much better football right now. It's not close.
I got to tell you, I had withdrawal last week when we didn't do our show. I was like, man, I can't believe. You know what, man? I was like, kind of. Wait, seriously, it's still disappointing, isn't it? Even going into these next rounds here.
Because I'm it's easier for me.
Oh, you're now swallowing the pill here a little bit.
Well, in hindsight, I don't understand. It's one thing to be delusional in the moment. When you have hindsight, I mean, everybody should look back on that and say, oh, yeah, that was coming the whole time. I mean, that was coming the whole time. So it is.
Before we go, you think Chicago's one of the teams that is they're trending in the right place, that they're going to be one of the upper echelon teams in the next 3 or 4 years here with Ben Johnson and with Caleb Williams? You think they're one of the teams?
Yeah, I do. I think they have a lot of decisions to make, though. I mean, that defense has to be better. Their defense wasn't all that great this year. I think they had good bones, but needs to be better. I'm a Caleb guy. I like Caleb, but you're not going to win consistently in the league with magic plays, 58% completion percentage. You got to get better at the on-script stuff, on the field offense stuff. Now, I think he's got the perfect coach to get him along, but anybody who watched the Bears this year, that guy's arm talent is incredible. So
you see what McVay said?
Yeah.
McVay said this about that play across the back of the end zone. You know what he said?
What did he say?
He goes like this. He goes, "Did you see that? What the hell was that?"
He's right.
He was like, right. What the hell was that? All right, Big Z, I got to roll, man.
Appreciate it, man. Later.
You got your brother. We'll talk to you down the line. That is my friend, Big Z Xander Krause. So my friend Mike North is freezing his baguettes off right now because I know what's going on in Big Chicago. You can't go out of the house without your galoshes and also your toupee. So remember the toupee and the galoshes. Make sure you get 2. You can put Wonder Bread bags. I was taught, my friends in Illinois told me to put Wonder Bread bags over my deal too. So here we go. Without further ado, I've been looking forward to this. Don't forget my friend Philly Godfather will join us also at 5:30. He is my friend, the legend from Chicago. He is Mike North, and he joins us now right here. How you doing, brother?
My hair is frozen. How you doing, handsome?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing,
you guys? It's good to hear you and Xander still, going at it and having fun, and that's what it's all about. But I've been on a roll in the playoffs, and I couldn't feel better. I know you're going to have Philly on. I'm 10-2 in the playoffs right now, and I had the Bears because we were up. I had the Bears covering against the Rams. They should have won the game, and I heard you ask a question: are they going to be back next year? And I would ask you this: they're not the 84 Bears getting ready for 85. They could be the Washington Commanders, that went 12-5 and then ended up going 5-12. I mean, because
tougher schedule too,
a big tough schedule. We got you guys again, which is bad news for you guys, according to what happened this year. But hopefully, you guys will get your stuff together. Although, you had 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. You can't really complain about that. But we blew that game. But I said I wouldn't complain because I didn't even think they'd be sniffing the playoffs. But the nonsense of going for it on the first drive and not kicking a field goal and leaving us deflated, and we would have won the game by maybe 3 points. We left about 9 points, 10 points on the field. We should have won that football game, but I didn't feel bad until I woke up the next day saying we should be going on. We should have beat the Rams, and we let them off the hook. Anybody who wants to know how good a quarterback Matthew Stafford is, he's the new generation. Dan, he played indoors and he plays in the nice weather because he'd suck if he played outdoors. Period. End of story. So I don't want to hear about how great some of these guys are, like Peyton Manning, of course. If he played outdoors in Indianapolis his whole career, he wouldn't hold any records, and neither would Matthew Stafford. They got out of there And so that's why I agree with Xander that they're going to win the next game, because they had their tough game. They had the weather going against them. They had the miracle man, Caleb Williams, who decides to play in the fourth quarter. Okay. I don't know how they'll straighten it out, but if you wait 3 quarters next year, you ain't going back to the playoffs, because this will never happen again.
How about this, Mike? Do you agree that when you watch the way Ben Johnson coached that game, you think that was his worst coach game that he had all year?
One of them. I mean, I thought that, if you want to follow the Dan Campbell lead, which he's a Detroit guy, you're not with a veteran team like Detroit is. And you're going for it on fourth down from the 50. You're going for it on fourth. I don't mind you going for it on. Well, yeah, I do. Because Lombardi didn't pass up points.
Yeah,
Landry didn't pass up points.
You don't pass points up in the playoffs.
No, and that's what he did. He passed points up 2-3 times. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, pass him up twice. But on the first drive, you got to kick the field goal, go up 3-0, plant a seed in their heads that we're going to be in this for the long haul. Instead, we let them off the hook. And we took the lead 10-7, but then he coached. I mean, nothing worked out. Nothing worked out. And at the end, we had him. And after a fantastic play like that, where I'm still trying to figure out what the Ram corner was doing, he ran away from the play, allowed Cole Kmet to catch the ball. You got to win that game then. And instead, it didn't work out. There's people that think he should have gone for 2 when they tied the football game up. And he decided to do what I think is the right thing. I'm not going to second guess him on that, but he did call some awful fourth down plays. And if you're going to go for it, the Lions are better than the Bears. They beat us twice. And yet they didn't make the playoffs because you have a coach that believes more in analytics. He comes across as a big, tough guy, but goes for it 5 times on fourth down and goes 0 for 5. Don't tell me how big ass you are and how old school you are.
You did it against the Eagles too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. The Eagle game, and then you're listening to the nerds. Oh, you should go for it. You can't measure heart. You can't measure a lot of things. Hopefully, coaches will come more to their senses and quit going for it on fourth down and take the points in the first quarter, because those points may be needed, as we saw in the fourth quarter.
Do you think that you can win consistently with the style of play of Caleb Williams?
No, not every year. Next year, if you ask Bear fans, are they going to the playoffs next year? And they say, yeah, then they're the same people that like Justin Fields for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because there's no guarantees. As you found out about, you have a Super Bowl style team. I thought they'd go all the way, but sometimes things don't work out. And you got to get rid of A.J. Brown. You got to get rid of him. If you bring him back, you're asking for trouble. He's a pain in the ass. He's a me guy, no different than most receivers. And you know what? There was no order on that sideline. You're arguing in the first quarter and with the coaches and stuff. Just in my opinion, a me guy, and trade him somewhere else. But if you go back with him again next year, you're going to have the same trouble. And Sirianni, I thought was great to get in his face, and it didn't. And guess what? A.J. Brown didn't care. Went jaw to jaw with them, and that was the beginning of the end. Believe me, you got to have a good clubhouse, and that is not what they have right now. You have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. They can't stand A.J. Brown. You could just tell by the way they talk. And
how about this? Mike, let me ask you here. Why doesn't anybody want, in your opinion, the OC job in Philadelphia? Mike McDaniel, McDaniel told him.
I'll take it.
Brian Dable rather have the Tennessee Titans job. How come nobody wants that job in Philadelphia?
Well, maybe Matt Nagy wants it. He got fired today by the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. And deservedly so. Okay. He ruined a playoff team like the Chicago Bears. He benched a guy that was 29-21, Mitch Trubisky, to let him to the playoffs twice. They decided to go with Justin Fields, and 85% of the fan base had no problem with it.
Now, the Eagles have interviewed him. What do you make of him?
Oh, I wouldn't hire him. If the Chiefs fired him, why would you hire him? Patrick Mahomes had their worst offensive year, as a matter of fact, and their play calling was predictable. The players, too. Kelsey had a lot to do with it. I'm not just blaming him. But wherever Matt Nagy goes, he wants his style of play, and maybe his style of play, he wants to pass the football. Okay, but you know what? That's not how the Philadelphia Eagles win. They win with toughness, with grit, with togetherness, and you didn't have togetherness this year. You acted like most Super Bowl teams do after a couple of big wins. Period. End of story. Because they were the best team in the NFC. I'm convinced.
I think they had one of the best rosters for sure in the NFC.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Even with the remaining two teams.
I agree with you. If LA lined up with Philadelphia tomorrow and everything was in order on the sidelines and, you didn't have certain players, there's only a couple. Look, all you need to do is put the wrong ingredient in spaghetti sauce and you're screwed. And you have the wrong ingredient with A.J. Brown. I mean, Devontae Smith is 175 pounds, doesn't say a word. Saquon Barkley doesn't say a word. He had a crap year too. So, I mean, everybody's got to take accountability. Quit worrying about the OC, because if he tries to run next year, will the offensive line open up holes for Barkley, or will he revert back? I mean, Barkley had that huge year, okay, and then he comes back with that. That's not a superstar runner. Walter Payton had no line at the beginning of his career. Then he had lines, and he ran the same way every single time. You could depend on him every year. Saquon Barkley with the Giants, super years, and then fall off. Philadelphia, super year, and then fall off. And not enough's being said about that. If you could have run the football better, it would have made things a lot easier this year. But nobody wants to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, because of what? He's doing Campbell commercials now and stuff? Give me a break.
What's next for the Bears, in your opinion? Where do they go from here now? But like you said, next year the bullseye is now on you.
Oh.
You're now the team now in the North. And so, Mike, where do you go from here, man? What do you think? Again, what's the biggest change or addition you think has to happen to this?
Well,
team
if they fall behind 3 quarters, there's not going to be any 6-7 miracle finishes. That was a once in a lifetime situation. Ben Johnson will not get the team together before the season. Go, listen, guys, we're going to do what we did last year. We're going to fall behind 12-14, and then we're going to have miracle finishes. That's what we'll do, because they'll be 5-12. They'll be 7-10. So he's got to shore up the defense. Okay. Once in a while, he's got to take the points himself. He's got to brush up on some of his play calling, which I have not a whole lot of complaints about. He's the best coach I've seen first year come into the National Football League, along with this kid Cohen, that took 2 teams that couldn't get out of their own way and did a tremendous job. I think that Caleb Williams, you can't throw for 58%, not in today's game.
No way.
You can't. And we got away with it. And hopefully we'll get away with it again. But if you ask me, are we going to come back from behind 6-7 different games? And are we going to lead the league in turnovers again? My bet is they won't. One of these things won't happen. I've seen the Chicago Bears of 2006 lead the league in turnovers, and then a few years later, they couldn't get any. And does it matter who you hire? Aaron Glenn, one of the great defensive backs. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. Yes.
Right? Defensive coach. Bring them in. Make them tough, right?
Absolutely.
They had no interceptions.
I know.
Aaron Glenn could have had an interception at his present age.
I know.
They had 0. So it's just a weird league. Some years things don't work out. Next year, the Jets could end up leading the league in turnovers. Who knows? But all I'm telling you is it's a buddy league. I'm looking at this guy from Green Bay that got hired by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm sick to my stomach if he's hired, if I'm a Dolphin fan. They were, believe me when I say this, they hired a guy whose defense gave up 25 points in the 4th quarter to lose to the Bears. They hired a guy whose team finished 13th or 14th, middle of the road in all defensive categories. But they hired a guy who's buddies with the general manager. And the owner, Ross today, Steve Ross, forgot their names.
I saw
This is what we're dealing with. These people are maniacs. And then you got, and that's no surprise to me, because we do this show on the Barroom Network. Somebody big just died. We did Jim Irsay. We're going to bring that show back. I basically said at the time he died because he was a junkie. And he was. Sorry.
I know.
And he's the owner of the damn team. And he had a doctor on call. to give him opioids and everything else. He was nuts back in the day. You could tell he was high every time he was at the podium.
Hey, Mike, when they arrested him, he had a prescription pad and he had open bottles in his and $20,000 in his seat. $29,000
in a trash bag. I mean, are you kidding me? This guy was one of the worst of the worst, yet he's running a National Football League franchise. I'm just being honest with everybody. Nobody will say it, but that's just the way it is. And I said it on the air.
It's true.
Why is everybody afraid to say what the guy was? He was an addicted guy that liked what he did. He enjoyed it. They said he had a relapse. Wait, he missed getting high. So he got high again, and then look what happens to the poor guy. But he wasn't poor. He ran a National Football League franchise, and I guarantee you, more than once he drove down the one-way street the wrong way coming home. Believe me.
Absolutely. You're a danger to your community when you're doing that stuff.
Absolutely. You're a danger to the football team was performing well, without him. But, he had some good years. I don't have.
Mike, you could take drugs when you're an NFL owner. You just can't do it if you're a player. Remember that.
Well, you can take drugs if you're an NFL owner, but then when you get caught, it doesn't look good. And what punishment did he go through?
Nothing.
I think what happened to a player? Huh?
I think they did something dumb, but it was like a fine or something.
That's all. Yeah. But the bottom line is that you got to have solid ownership. You got to have a good group around you. And I saw his, I believe, daughter, who's running the team, waving like this, and she's found the right way to do things, and then they shit the bed. They shit the bed, and then all of a sudden she goes away. I mean, come on.
Mike, tell me why in Chicago people fall in love with linebackers. TJ Edwards is so loved in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
Singletary, Urlacher, Butkus, George, all these guys. It's like Peyton and your linebackers. You don't even like your quarterbacks that much there in Chicago. No. I mean, why is it the linebacker? Is that the position that personifies?
Well, Bill George invented it. Bill George invented the position, number 61, and then he succeeded by Dick Butkus. Okay. So, and then you got guys like Urlacher coming in, even the outside linebackers, Doug Buffone, Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall. These guys are terrific. Jim Finks did the one solid rebuild in Chicago history, along with the Chicago Blackhawks, who won 3 Stanley Cups. But we were a team, because there was no free agency at the time, that had to do it through the draft. And the Bears did everything through the draft. It was, I think, the greatest rebuild job ever. I mean, the White Sox, there's nobody left from the 2021 team that they were touting. And I said, it's never going to work. And it worked the first year. And then after that, and let's hope the Bears have a different style. Ben Johnson is calling a lot of the shots I'm hearing, not even Ryan Poles. Another word. Well, Ryan Poles can't pick up nobody without Ben Johnson liking him. That's the word I'm getting. And I think
was that part of the requirement in getting that head coach?
I have no idea about that, but the word I'm getting is if Ryan Poles wanted to pick up a player tomorrow, he better get on the phone with Ben Johnson. Because Ben Johnson's got more cachet in that town than Ryan Poles now.
Wow.
Oh, Ryan Poles was a failure for 4 years.
So the McCaskies gave him that autonomy in the building.
That's the rumor. Okay. But there's no way that all of a sudden there was 3 offensive linemen that were brand new on the Bears this year. Okay. You have to protect Caleb. This sounded like a Ben Johnson situation. And I'm not taking nothing against Ryan Poles.
I agree.
He's in the chair. They make the decision together, and that's the way it goes. But if Ben Johnson was the most valuable player on that team this year, Caleb was great. The defense was outstanding. But everything, for the first time since 1961, for a team that wasn't supposed to do something, everything went their way. Now, will they go the way of the Commanders? Will they be 7-10, 5-12, or do they build on what they have? Nobody knows right now how next year will be.
Okay, Mike, AFC Championship game. I don't know. There's something about Sean Payton that makes me think that this guy's going to make that game close.
Oh,
Because,
he'd love to.
hey, when I see that Patriots team, I don't do this. Wow, they're so not beatable. I mean, I watched this guy kind of drop. What do you have? 4 balls on the ground. He dropped 4 footballs on the ground. I'm talking Drake May. That Houston defense kind of knocked him around a little bit. Your opinion, how do you see that thing playing out?
I took the Rams already. I mean, I took the Patriots. I've ridden the Patriots the last 2 weeks and won them both. I'm not getting off Drake May. He fumbled against the best defense in football.
True. Yes.
And he stays in the pocket. He doesn't try to run out. So his mistake is, they say protect the ball, but if they're all over you and you're staying toward that 1 second left that you may think you have, he was careless with the football. But I look at it this way. Playing the Houston Texans was like me going to biology class. Okay? It was going to be a struggle. Okay? Playing this week against who are they playing? Denver? Playing this week will be how I was in gym class. A whole different story. Okay? If somebody asked Drake May, would you rather play Denver with the new quarterback or the team you played last week? He's going, no, I don't want the Texans. But Stroud stinks in a way. Okay. You guys would be, if you think you have problems with Jalen Hurts, I mean, Stroud, that they've made the playoffs 3 years in a row, he's been the detriment for the most part. He's 6'3", plays 6 like he's 6 feet.
Rookie of the year, it was fool's gold for me a little bit. I said this about Ohio State quarterbacks, Mike.
I've always said it.
Name me a quarterback in 150 years of football that came out of Ohio State that was a superstar player at Ohio State in the NFL. It's none. Mike Tomczak was decent. Schleister was okay. But other than that, you really never had anybody that came out of Ohio State. And I should have put my guns on that, but I didn't.
No. I used to get ripped by the Bear fans because I said Justin Fields ain't worth a damn.
He's not. He was never.
Yet they gave him 3 chances, 3 starting opportunities. What did he have over everybody else? Huh? Was he the new age quarterback?
No.
First of all, Ohio State quarterbacks infamously suck. But in the era of passing, Stroud has taken it a little bit higher than what they're used to. Just like USC, Caleb and Darnold now are taking that. But they've never had good quarterbacks.
No,
they had Carson Palmer. Then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. But I said it this way.
Pat Hayden, maybe a little bit. Other than that, nobody.
What happened to Matt Leinart?
Yeah, Matt Leinart was a nobody.
What happened to Pat Hayden back in the day, who wasn't bad? I mean, I can name you all the USC quarterbacks that they predicted would be huge.
Only one guy really got to a Super Bowl, I think, was Ferragamo.
Yeah.
Now remember, Ferragamo. No, wait a minute. Ferragamo went to UCLA.
Was it Dieter Brock? Dieter Brock.
He went to UCLA. Ferragamo.
Yeah, because Dieter Brock quarterbacked against the Bears in '85. That was the last you saw of him. You know, they devoured him.
I can't think of one quarterback that took a football team to a Super Bowl but Pat Hayden. No,
there isn't.
Hayden, no, there isn't one. No USC quarterback.
I said this, and it still holds for Caleb Williams, because if he throws for 58% next year, we're finished. If he's not as accurate, we're finished.
Yeah.
But if he's captain comeback now because he's behind all the time. Okay? Get ahead of that. Ben's job next year, get the lead. Get the lead. Improve your defense. Draft some linemen. Make Edmonds. They like him. He's a local guy. Okay, and stuff like that. A lot of guys on the Bears are likable guys. I have an admiration for the Bears because this is the same team basically that had quitters on it. Okay, last year. The only guy that's being picked on right now is a guy that walked off the field during the play last year and who lollygagged on the big play of the game, DJ Moore. And I'm not sure he'll be back.
Who do you like in the NFC title game?
I love the Rams. I do. If you're asking me, like, I've been basing my playoffs, and
is that the Super Bowl? You think the winner of that game wins the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying the winner of that game wins the Super Bowl. New England versus the Rams.
Yeah.
If that happens that way, I'm not going to say none. Now Sam Darnold's got it's a big game for him. It's a legacy game.
It is.
Okay. But McVay, it's a legacy game.
Yes.
Because that would be his third Super Bowl and his second win. That puts you in different company than some of the other guys.
And Mike, on Sunday, he turns 40.
Yeah. He's a tremendous coach.
I mean, he turns 40 and he's already got 10 wins. He's 10-5 in the postseason. And there's people out there that take shade on the guy. And I'm like, wait a minute. This will be his third NFC championship that he'll win in 8 years or 9 years of coaching, and he's not 40 yet. This guy's going to go down as one of the best. Do you know there's only one other guy that's won as many games at his age? It's like Curly Lambeau and Hallis.
Yeah, and they didn't. Well, yeah, and the bottom line is they were there at the beginning.
Yeah,
okay,
in the 1920s.
You didn't have free agency then. You can make adjustments and stuff like that. In the old days, okay, you had to stay with the quarterback that you had. There wasn't going to go out and get a Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford would have played his whole career with Detroit for the most part because the money wasn't big. So you're able to go out and get people, but it's the smart GMs. First of all, let me just say this. What happened to Sean McDermott is an absolute shame, okay? The owner of the team gives the GM a promotion, yet you get rid of a guy that's taken you to a couple AFC championship games. It's 56, 57 games, over 500. Took them over when they were the biggest mess in football, okay? They're building a brand new stadium, and you're bringing in Mike McDaniel now to talk to, a rival who you watch coach and you dominated? Because what? Because see, when I grew up and when you grew up, men didn't cry. Okay. Men didn't cry. And so what happens to Pagula is he goes down into the locker room and he's got Josh Allen. And he goes, I felt bad for Josh, so I fired the coach because the guy's a crybaby, because he's been praised his whole career, and finally it came to his front door. We didn't get it done because of you. Now, he took responsibility for it, but then he's crying like a baby in the locker room. And now he caused the coach to get fired. Did Josh Allen stand up? Did anybody inquire with him? Do you want McDermott gone? Did anybody? No, they just made the decision on their own, and then they gave themselves a promotion.
Mike, though, Brandon Beane, he stinks as a GM.
That's my point. How do you get a promotion to president and get rid of your coach who basically, if the Eagles acquired him tomorrow, people or most teams wouldn't have a gripe?
What he said, what Sean McDermott said that I think that pissed off Terry Pagula was that he said that Josh Allen needs more talent.
He does.
Him. He needs more talent on that roster.
He does.
And they blew a gasket on that, thinking that, wait a minute, we're making the right decisions when it comes to personnel. And I happen to agree with McDermott. That's not a good team.
You know how much dog crap he covered up by being as talented as he is?
Oh,
name me a Super Bowl type team or an AFC championship team like they have, caliber team. Name me their superstars besides him.
There's only the running back is it. No one else.
And you know what? And Stephon Diggs
back put the ball on the carpet too. And
Stephon was on the team. Stephon Diggs. He might have stunk, but he was better than what happened this year. He is. I saw him perform this year. He's doing fine. You know, he had 4 kids this year. Congratulations. Like I've always said, Father's Day's got to be a nightmare. Oh,
why is it a nightmare? Why is it a nightmare for Stephon?
I've never seen a guy that has to go to 9 Thanksgiving dinners. I used to, when you get married, when you get married, the first couple of years, you got to go to both families. This guy's got to go to different states. He's got to get on flights. He's got to, I mean, seriously.
9 different Thanksgiving.
He has no problem with it.
Oh my God.
He's got no. And then they interviewed the Viking players. They go, "Who's the one guy you wouldn't want dating your sister?" Every one of them said him. So it's no secret about this guy. Okay. My God. And you know what? He makes a lot of money, but he must have some nice arrangements, man, made out because it's not going to last forever.
Oh my God.
I mean, seriously.
9 Thanksgivings. I got to ask you about LeBron. So LeBron James, now it's coming out and it's being reported that Jeannie Buss is tired of his shit.
I am too.
Los Angeles, and he said that they've been wanting him out of Los Angeles, and they've been wanting to move off it. They got Luka and all this, and LeBron's not very happy, and Maverick Carter are not happy with how the ending is going on in Los Angeles, and Jeannie wants him out. What do you make of all that?
I think it's well conceived by her. They went and got him. He's a cherry picker. He doesn't play defense. JJ Redick wants him out. Don't forget that. They're not seeing what they used to see eye to eye. Look, there's rumors about steroid use. I have no idea. Okay, I don't care. All right, I think the guy's been a fabulous ball player, but you're not winning a championship with him. He never believed in himself. He believed in getting together an all-star team. Okay, and trying to win. He was a cocky, arrogant guy. Still is. That you understand just wants the stat stuff now and keep his scoring record out of reach. Nobody cares. Everybody
Mike,
knows.
He's in the conversation with Jordan.
No, he's not. Where?
Don't
make up
I
crap.
didn't say that. I'm not an LBJ.
Well, who the hell's? You know what? If you're still debating after all these years, he's not good enough. And guess what? 6 finals, 6 wins, 6 MVPs, 10 defensive player, 9 offensive player of the year. How many MVPs? How many guys lead the league in scoring and are on the first team defensively? Not many. And that was Jordan.
By the time, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan, when he retired, was 3rd in steals.
Jordan was a two-way player. That's it. LeBron isn't. And that's just the way it is. He loves his offense. He loves to, and he works hard on his game. He loves the game of basketball.
Was Jordan a defensive player of the year one year too?
Absolutely. He was MVP and defensive player of the year.
By the way, LeBron's never won that.
Won. Well, he never would. I mean, because look, he had his role, but he could score 100,000 points. It's always going to be Jordan. It's always going to be Jordan until the next guy comes along. I mean, if you're asking me, I mean, I watched Kevin Durant last night for Houston. He still got it. They don't play defense now, so that's unbelievable. But see, when Jordan won all these things, the scores were 99 to 96. Now I'm watching games. They're giving every guy a 3-point shot. It's like shooting practice out there. Okay. And I watch a lot of good basketball players, but we'll never know what they had the rules back in the old days, how good these guys would be. SGA is minus 400 to win the MVP. I watched him the other night, a couple weeks ago, have a terrible game, 6 for 26. Jordan had like 4 of those. You know what I'm saying? In his whole career. Every night, Jordan said, I'm playing. No load management. He played 82 games, like 7, 8, 9 times.
Was 7, 8 times. I thought it was more than that.
It might be more than that. My mother-in-law, okay, God bless her, little Italian lady, she wanted to go to a Bulls game, okay? She went. You know why she went? Just to see Michael Jordan. Right? She doesn't know anything about basketball, but she loved Michael Jordan. That's how the infectious he was. Plus, he's a good guy. LeBron's a tool, period.
Hey, listen, I went to a Golden State Warriors game when the Bulls came into town, and I was working at KNBR out in the West Coast. And so this is when the Rodman team was there. And
great team.
And so PJ Carlissimo was on the sidelines, and I think Latrell Sprewell and them had gotten into that whole thing. Michael Jordan tortured that team for 48 minutes.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, because he was friends with Latrell, and so he was going up and down the court. I was sitting in the press section. Hey, PJ, what are you hollering at? He's shooting. What are you hollering at? He's just going. He
did that to everybody.
He tortured that team. And
There's two guys that
I've never seen a team, Mike. I mean, Rodman, and I've never seen a team play hard.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's one of my favorite teams of all time.
Well, it is. The 86 Celtics, I think, give the Bulls a battle. Give that Bulls team a battle with McHale.
Man, they played hard, that Bulls team, man.
Right.
Wow,
they won 70.
I think that was the 70-win team.
Right. But the 86 team,
yeah,
with Bird, Parrish, McHale.
69 or 68 games that year.
Yeah. And you know what? That would have been a great. Some people, the Boston people, and I happen to think they could have given the Bulls all they had for best of 7 with Bird and McHale.
If Jordan didn't retire and they didn't rip that team apart, do you think they had 2 more titles in them?
One, which would have given them 7.
Yeah.
Okay. But Jordan also retired in the middle of his run, if you remember.
Yeah, he did. Right.
And they would have, and Akeem Olajuwon would have been well known, but he would have not have a title. Yeah. They would have won 8. They would have won 8 in a row. They would have won 8 in a row. They would have won 3. They won 3. Then he took 2 years off. Then they won 3 more. So those 2 years, Houston and Olajuwon became the big team because Michael was gone.
They went back to back.
They never do that if Michael Jordan's in the league. I can promise you that with my whole heart and soul.
Would you take Kobe?
Every game he ever played?
Would you take Kobe over LBJ?
Oh, in a heartbeat. He was a good guy, too. A nice guy, played both ends. Learned from Jordan, admired Jordan. They talk constantly. I mean, Jordan, I don't think has much to do with LeBron James. That's what, I mean, I don't see.
It doesn't seem. It doesn't.
No, and he's probably sick of the nonsense. Who's better after 20 years? Who's better? Are you kidding me?
You know what I always loved about Jordan's comments? Jordan says like this. You can't debate all that because it's generational, and he gets it. He's like, I'm not gonna disrespect Oscar Robertson, and I'm not gonna disrespect all them dudes like Bill Cousy and all them guys because it's just generational. He goes, you can't really do that. I'm sorry, man, but if I had to take a guy, and if I had to win a 48-minute ball game, man, I'm taking that dude, and I'm not going
anytime. Look, I saw them all. I saw Havlicek, tremendous player. Jerry West, tremendous player. Jabbar, unbelievable. Magic. Bird, I'm taking Jordan. But how many are taking LeBron over those guys I just mentioned?
No way.
No way.
I'm not taking him over Bird.
Never. And I wouldn't take him over Kobe. I wouldn't take him over a lot of guys.
I wouldn't take him over Kareem.
He was a carpetbagger. He went from team to team. And then Durant you don't think it's stained, Durant? Got a stain on Durant on his jersey. The tide can't get out. It says, I'm a front runner. He had to go to Golden State to win a title. And then they give him the MVP, and they had won before him, and then they went after him. Oh, if we didn't have Durant, we wouldn't have won. I'm sorry, you won before he got there. And you won after he left. So it's all nonsense. Just like everything is softer now. I cannot believe Andrew Jones is in the Hall of Fame. I can't.
Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltran.
I can't. Look.
Jeff Kent.
I can't believe. I know it's a Hall of Fame museum now. I had Chipper Jones was on Twitter the other day, who works for the Atlanta Braves. Okay, who probably got the Brave logo on his ass, tattooed on his ass. Okay, great ball player. You know what he says? If people don't think Andrew Jones deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, they don't know anything about baseball. Why did it take 9 years? Because all of a sudden it's a defensive award now? I'm sorry. You have to be, there's got to be criteria.
They were good players, but not Hall of Fame players.
I never once said, let's go to a ball game. Andrew Jones is in town. You know what, did?
Mike? I did the pre and post game show for the San Francisco Giants. And we used to always say this: Kent was a product of Bonds. I mean, nobody went to a ball game to watch Jeff Kent play a game.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just, and you can't tell the history of baseball without Pete Rose. So you can't tell the story, good or bad, however you think of him, Mike. To me, when you're talking about Rose and then you're putting Carlos Beltran.
Now that's the problem. You have guys that couldn't.
Carlos Beltran.
Listen.
And you got to even say this. Harold Baines. Come on.
He didn't. I've always been, but if I say it in Chicago, which I have, I get buried, but that's fine. I can take it.
Harold Baines ain't a Hall of Fame. baseball
No,
player.
he's not. And so there's Bill Mazeroski, but Mazeroski got in because he hit the home run and he was a good fielder. So don't complain about Ozzie Smith anymore if you're going to put in Andrew Jones. And then I see the Atlanta Braves come out with a tweet. The best center fielder in baseball history just made the Hall of Fame. Are you serious? Are you serious? Because really I saw Mays. I saw Mantle. Okay? I saw Mike Trout. I can name them all night long. I saw guys like Paul Blair that could field with Andrew Jones.
DiMaggio was better.
DiMaggio was maybe the best, but I didn't see him. So this not Jim Edmonds.
Yeah.
Jim Edmonds was as good a center fielder.
Spectacular outfielder.
Unbelievable that Andrew Jones.
Griffey Jr.
You know what somebody said to me? Well, he hit 400 home runs. I go, yeah, and it's not 1980 anymore. You got to hit 500. You got to have certain criteria for these guys. You know what they're talking about now? And this is why my mother's 96. She says things aren't the same anymore. Well, they're not the same in sports. I'm sorry. I heard a guy say today, how about Felix Hernandez? He won 169 games, but the guy goes, he was good in his prime. That's not what it's based on. You got to put together a body of God-blessed work.
Yeah.
You cannot say he would have won. And then the bias, Jim Cott, okay, the pitcher from Minnesota, and he won 283 games.
Yep,
he won 16 Gold Gloves, which is exactly 6 more than Andrew Jones and only 2 less than Maddox. And he didn't get in. He had to get pushed in by the Veterans Committee. Yeah. All of a sudden, defense is the big deal now? Yeah. Give me a break.
Hey, Mike, you've been knocking it out of the park here, man. By the way, how cold are you freezing your baguettes off when you go out?
The dog took 2 leaks today and said, I'll take a dump later. He wanted to come in. He wanted to come. My dog is boxer, he's lab, and he's pit bull. He looks more like a pit bull, but he doesn't have hair. We walked out today. It's 24 below, and with the wind chill 60. We walked 25 feet. He took a couple leaks, and he looked at me. What, are you out of your mind? So we went inside, and then as it got warmer, I think it dropped to like 20 below zero. He had to go. But he went faster than he went out there, and he took 20 steps and said, that's it, and he got in the crouch. He got in the crouch. I know what I haven't talked to you about. Did we talk about your Miami Hurricanes?
Okay, we did not. No.
All right, I'm going to give you this. Great game. I should have bet both ends. Money line on Indiana and on the points. I could have won both. That being said, great ball game. I did not know Menendez had another year eligibility.
I didn't either until I heard him today declare.
Nobody knew. I was on my show on AM 1000 today. Nobody knew
that. I didn't know he had another year.
He could make another 10, 15 million off nil if he wanted to, but he'd go out on top. And you know what? We'll see what happens with the Raiders. I wish that kid nothing but the best. What they did is unbelievable. And if he doesn't succeed in football, he'll succeed at something else. But I think he's going to be a good quarterback. Yep. Tom Brady seems to like him.
Yep.
They seem to be a knockout. And we'll see what happens, man. But I think you guys played a good ball game.
41 yards shy of a national title.
You had to be sick.
I was. But you know what I was happy about? I was happy the way that they played in the second half. They kind of took over the game a little bit. I thought they beat Menendez up a little bit.
They did.
If they were gonna lose to somebody, I love the fact that they lost to a South Florida Cuban family that was part of the Castro, Merrill boat lift, and the parents in that. Mario was also from Columbus High School.
Absolutely.
He's from Columbus, so I thought it was a great moment for South Florida.
I do too.
I tell you what, that Signetti guy. How about this, Mike? Before I leave you here with this, check this out. 2 years ago, he was making $475,000 a year at James Madison.
Yeah.
Less than 6 months ago, they gave him a $95 million contract. He's making $11.6. Now they've gone to him and they're going to pay him $14.6 million. This is within 2 years of what he's done at Indiana. 2 years.
And I always said
stories I've ever.
And I said this with you 2 months ago. He brought James Madison players over, and his program was so good that after he left, they still made it into the playoffs with the freshman and sophomore that he recruited. And now they got another kid named Hoover who's coming to quarterback. Yep. So it's going to be fun. But I don't think we'll see them go undefeated again. But no. It's them. And think about Indiana basketball, undefeated, 1976, and undefeated in football. Nobody would have called that.
I got to say this. I never thought I'd say this. State of Indiana next year, probably going to have 2 teams in the top 12 going into the playoffs. And let's see if Florida can get 2 teams into the playoffs, because Notre Dame and Indiana are going to get into the playoffs. Indiana's not going away.
No, and I thought Cristobal did a good job. It was a shame with the fight afterwards. They said that Fletcher said something about his dad, and nobody can find out what he said because some staffer said it. Here's what probably happened. He calls his dad or texts his dad who's in heaven. I'll tell you, first of all, the guy from Indiana says he never said a word. I haven't heard anything either. I don't believe he did. The guy, but he could. A wise guy like me would have said,
Mike, I think it was emotions.
It was emotion.
People do dumb shit.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'm good with that. At first I thought, why don't you text? He might have said, why don't you text your dad now and tell him what happened?
No way.
This kid had too much class, and he said he didn't say a word, but Miami lied about it. Yeah, Miami lied about it.
Yeah, no way, man. Mike, I got to roll. I appreciate you and love you, man. We'll see you next week.
Baby. Take care. I brought it today. Let's go. Come on.
You did, man. You were knocking it out of the park. Mike North always knocking it out of the
see
park.
You, pal.
You got it, my friend. That is Mike North, man. Make sure you check him out. Absolutely great stuff. Philly Godfather is going to join us. Let me pay some bills here. Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America, for a reason. It is because they win. I tell you this all the time. If you're ever injured on the job, folks, I promise you this will be the easiest decision you've ever made in your life. Call them. Trust me when I tell you. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face. Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you very much today. Thank you again. Supers. We appreciate those. And also, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Okay. We are going to talk to our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather, here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get his thoughts on the upcoming championship games. We're going to go and dive into some of the props as well. Okay? And we will go into that here in a second here. Catch, I saw this. Alberto Mendoza is going to Georgia Tech. I did see that. I did see that. So, yes, indeed. All right. You know, I love the guys we get on Friday. Mike North was he was insane. I mean, I love talking with him. And a guy that, get this. So last week, the legendary, I think it was a week before. So Billy Godfather comes on. He starts throwing a little bit of his love around. This thing got like 175,000 views. I'm going to start calling this guy Mr. Insider because I think he's more plugged in than even I am. I'd like to get his thoughts on the OC job here. We're going to do this now. He is my friend, and he's got a great book out. Make sure you guys check it out. Booked. Here, and here he is right now. He is my friend, the legendary Philly Godfather. How you doing, brother?
It's freezing up here in Philadelphia. They're expecting the biggest snowstorm since 1996. Supermarkets are empty. I mean, it's a little wild right now, but it never lives up to the hype. But you never know. This year might be.
Hold on here now. You lost all that weight. Now you're going to freeze your back ends off. Now you know that weight. Now you lost. You're like some model now, right? So I mean, you're like, right, losing all that weight there, man. All good. I mean, what do you make of what's going on with the Eagles? They can't get an OC because is it the quarterback? Is it Nick Sirianni? Is it the organization? Why don't you think they can get a decent OC hired here?
I think it's a combination of all three, and Matt Nagy. I mean, I definitely don't want him as the OC. You saw what he did in Chicago. You saw what he did with the Chiefs last year, one of the worst offenses the Chiefs has had since I can remember. I think that kid Kafka, the guy Kafka from the Giants, he's probably the leading candidate. But that dude Cooter from the Colts, he kind of intrigues me.
What he did with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, top 10 in so many offensive categories, top 5 before Danny Jones got hurt. I think he might be the right guy for the job. But again, you're dealing with Lurie, you're dealing with Sirianni, you're dealing with the analytics department. You're dealing with a lot of moving parts there that a lot of guys, offensive coordinators, want to shy away from probably. So that's probably been the biggest issue so far.
I got a guy for you, and I want you to tell me what you think. So Phillip Rivers is interviewing for the Buffalo Bills job today. And one of the guys that Nick had tremendous success with when he was the offensive strategist for the San Diego Chargers, back when the Chargers were in San Diego, he worked with Frank Reich. Phillip Rivers loves him. You talk about a guy who's a savant on seeing offenses. Phillip Rivers talks to Jalen Hurts all the time about the style of play and how you got to see. He mentioned it also, did Jalen on the Manning show that does that Monday Night Football game. The one guy that he watches Phillip Rivers. If you're going to look at all these guys that you could throw into a hat, why not get a guy who actually knows the position and plays the position, and Nick knows? Why don't you go out of the box a little bit and think about a guy like Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I mean, who's better than him to run the offense? He was a great quarterback for years, one of the smartest quarterbacks on the field, for decades. And he came back this year as an old man and had a little bit of success. I would definitely look to hire Phillip Rivers. Why not? He's one of the better minds when it comes to quarterbacks I've seen in a long time.
So what'd you make of what happened to Buffalo? Let's walk back a little bit in the divisional games here. What'd you make of Buffalo laying an egg up in Denver? 4 turnovers. Then the coach ends up getting blown out. I mean, again, this was a yellow brick road really supposedly paved out here for Josh Allen to get this thing done, and he didn't get it done. What are your takeaways on that?
I mean, McDermott's a good coach at putting a team together, putting talent together, but he has had 9 years to get the job done, and he does have Superman playing quarterback. And it seems like each and every year this team is decimated with injuries on the defensive side of the football. And there's only so much Josh Allen can do, and there's obviously so much the coach can do. But it's kind of like that Andy Reid thing in Philly, man. The time came and went, didn't get the job done. Hopefully he goes somewhere else and he wins the Super Bowl because he is a local guy, McDermott, Delaware County. Would I have fired him? I don't know if I would have fired him, but I think it's time to move on. Now, the question is, who do you get? And where do the Bills team go from here? I don't think the Bills laid an egg. They went up against probably the best defense in the NFL this season, number one in pressure and sack rate on that defensive line, and they were on his ass the whole game. That defense is ferocious. So it really came down to like 2 plays the whole game. And that last, interception, was it an interception? Was it a completion? Kind of the same thing happened in the Bears-Rams game, and they called it a catch, or this time they didn't. And, they got super, super duper slow motion these days. So did he control the ball for 10% of the catch, 20%? Like no one knows what a catch is anymore. They've changed the rules so many times. And with technology, you can slow things down so much where if they didn't have that kind of technology, you'd say, oh, that's a catch. So did they get robbed? Kind of. I don't think they laid an egg. But again, that Broncos team, had one of the best records in the NFL this season, best in the AFC. Home field advantage was deadly. And that defensive line, I mean, and the noise level, for Josh Allen and that offensive line to deal with, that's where the biggest problem is with all that noise is your offensive line, penalties, there's, interceptions, turnovers. With that noise, it causes a lot of problems. So did they lay an egg? No. Did Josh Allen not have his best game? Absolutely not. I mean, he turned the ball over 4 times. You can't do that. I talk about that all the time. I critique Lamar Jackson as being one of the biggest choke artists ever. He's had, the best regular seasons. And in the playoffs, his propensity to turn the ball over is 4 times what it is in a regular season. But with Josh Allen, I don't think he's a choke artist. I just think he had a bad game against one of the best defenses in the NFL this season. So tough break for Buffalo. Broncos, they lose their quarterback on the second and last play of the game. So now what? It's,
Absolutely. So do you think the Texans lost an opportunity to win that game based on the back of CJ Stroud? I mean, he was terrible in that ball game. I mean, best defense in football. I mean, I watched that game and I'm like, Houston was in that all the way until the very end. They pulled away a little bit later because of the ineptness of the quarterback. I mean, if you're Houston, you can't pick that 50-year option up on him, right? No. He's not the guy you're picking up, right?
No, and whether maybe it's some kind of injury, he hasn't looked the same since his rookie season.
He has not.
And he was, he missed a lot of games, the last 2 years. But 5 turnovers in the football game. What do you have? 4 interceptions. You're not going to win football games that way. And that defense was so good and so strong. And their edge rush was, it was so
phenomenal. With Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, they were great.
And they gave Drake May a lot of headaches, a lot of problems. He didn't have his best game either. But when you got 5 turnovers, each turnover is worth about 3 points to the game. So you just gifted your opponent 15 points. It's hard to recover from that. You lose the game 99.99% of the time when you turn the ball over 5 times.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the games. I also have some props here that I'd like to ask you about here. So let's do the first game here. Patriots and Broncos. Listen, it's 42.5. Yeah. And it's obviously the Broncos are getting 4.5 points here because the loss of Knicks on the second to last play of the game, as you said, in the divisional round against the Bills. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm just going to say this, and I know that they're going in with Jarrett Stidham in this game, but I think Sean Payton's a hell of a coach. I think that Mile High's a thing. I've played there. It's a thing. Would I be shocked if that game's close? No. How do you see this thing playing out?
The look-ahead line had the Broncos -1.5, and they reopened it when Bo Nix got hurt. It opened back up at 4.5. It shot up to as high as 5.5, and then some sharp money got involved, hit the screen. They took Denver +6 and +5.5, pushed it back down to as low as -3.5. Now there's 3.5s in the market, and the game's down to -4. So that tells you something. Some real sharp guys out there who have bigger money than me. They're taking Denver. I haven't been decided yet. I kind of, when it comes to the point spread, it's a great equalizer. And if you're getting 5 or 6 points with arguably the best defense in the NFL, it's probably the right side. Now, do I think they win the game? It's going to be tough. They got a big home field advantage. But again, beating this Patriots team that has the most wins on the season isn't going to be easy. Bo Nix, he's played good this year. But I don't know if that big 7-point move in the sports betting market is really warranted here. Only 4 quarterbacks this season have thrown more interception than Bo Nix. So that's why the Broncos, when you look at the record against the spread, they're only 8-9-1 against the Vegas number this year.
Does it change because Jarrett Stidham's starting in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it moves 7 points. And the biggest issue with him is turnovers. I mean, he's great at processing information. He's got a big arm. He can play the position, but you're throwing a backup into the championship game. I mean, if that guy turns the ball over 1 or 2 times, it's a wrap against a Broncos team that, offensively, yards per play, points per game, it's the Rams and then it's the Patriots. So it's a tough spot to be in for Sean Payton. And they're actually kind of banged up. The Patriots have a much higher health score, I think like a +7 health advantage going into this matchup. Noise level, like you said, at mile high, the atmosphere, in that fourth quarter, a lot of these guys are going to be huffing and puffing.
You bet.
So, oh God, can that defense keep them within the Vegas number? Probably. But in the playoffs, phenomenon happens, and it happens during March Madness too. The team that wins the game covers the spread. So if the underdog is going to cover the spread, they're going to have to win the game because 80% of the time that happens. So if you don't think the underdog can win the game outright, then you try to stay away from them. And the favorite, if they're going to win the game, they're going to cover the spread. They're going to beat the Vegas number. So this one's a tough one. If the line gets to 3, I'll probably look to play New England -3. If you do like the Broncos, maybe you want to time into a teaser. You can probably still grab +11 and a 7-point teaser with maybe the Rams at +9.5. But if this line gets any shorter, I got to go with Drake May over Jarrett Stidham here.
42.5. You think it's low scoring, or you think this thing's going to be high scoring here? Because I mean, the only way the Broncos keep this in there with that backup quarterback against Drake May of the Patriots, in my opinion, is if you keep this thing low scoring. You think it's under 42.5?
It opened 40 and it shot up to 42.5. If it gets to 43, I'll probably look to play the under. Both defenses, they've been strong all season, top 10 in a lot of different defensive metrics. And that pass rush, I mean, the sack rate's the highest of any in the NFL, the pressure rate for the Broncos. So they're going to give Drake May some problems here. I think points are going to be at a premium. I think both teams know this. I think neither team wants to turn the ball over first, so they're going to come out real conservative. I don't know if Sean Payton trusts, Stidham early in that game, passing the ball down the field. So you can see a lot of dink and dunk pass, a lot of short stuff, a lot of running plays. So probably under 43 if it gets there, under 21.5 in the first half. That's probably the way I'll look to play it.
All right, how about this? Couple props here for you. Cortland Sutton in receiving yards. You think he's over under 47.5?
Backup quarterback, pretty good defense. They are at home. Man, he's the best wide receiver on that team. 47.5. They're going to have to get him the football. I would say over.
Over? Yeah. Drake May, over under 223.5 yards passing.
I'd say under.
Because of the defense?
Defense, yeah. And that home field advantage, every time he steps up to the line to snap that football, they're going to be loud. That's going to cause some problems, some penalties, some issues. I would say,
brother, I'm telling you, I played up there, and it's that mile high is a thing. It's a thing. I mean, you're on the gas mask, and I got to tell you, if they're not ready to play up there, now they've played up there before, so I just think Sean Payton's going to make this game close here. All right, NFC title game. How do you see this thing playing out here? Here it is. Rams and Seahawks, 46.5 is the over-under. 2.5 the Seahawks are given, or the Rams are favored.
No, Seahawks are favored.
Seahawks are favored by 2.5 in this ball game at home. which is traditionally usually 3 points, you being at home. So would you say a little bit of a push game here so far heading into this NFC title game?
I mean, the line opened 2.5. It hasn't budged. It's still 2.5. It's not going to 3. If it goes to 3, you're going to see a lot of sharp money jump on the Rams +3. They're going to bury the Rams. It's such a key number. And both games they've played this year have been decided by, 2 points or less. The one game in Week 11, the Rams went 21-19, but I think Darnold had 4 turnovers in that game.
He did.
So if he doesn't turn the ball over 4 times, Seattle probably wins that game. But then you flip-flop it. A couple weeks ago, Seattle beats them in overtime, but they had no business winning that game. And the common denominator in both games has been that Sam Darnold threw 4 picks the first time and 2 picks the second time. So if he throws 2 interceptions again this time, I think the Rams win the game. I don't even think you're going to need the points. He can't afford to turn the ball over. 6 combined interceptions in 2 games that he's played against the Rams this season. Offensively, both teams are pretty similar. The Rams are ranked number 1 in the league in yards per play, so they're a little better than the Seahawks. Defensively, big disparity between that Seahawks defense and this Rams defense. Over recent play, I mean, the Seahawks are giving up like 6 points per game. Their defense is gelling at the right time. But again, most important position on the field, quarterback and coach, and I give the edge to the Rams here. If it gets to 3, I think you take the Rams. I think they're the better team. If you want to buy the half a point, you can buy the half a point and get them to 3 +3. And if you go back to against the 49ers games with the Seahawks, they blew them out 41-6. But if you look at the box score, Seattle's offense only had like 19 first downs and 281 total yards. So their offense, didn't do much against a defense that was one of the most banged up in the NFL. And now you're playing a Rams team that's healthy. It's the healthiest they've been all year. And even though, they went on the road, 3rd week in a row, I think the Rams get the job done here. I think they end up in the Super Bowl, and I think they play the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
46.5. You think this thing goes over that?
I don't know. The line opened up 47.5. It's down to 46.5. It's probably going to drop even lower. Man, you got 2 good offensive teams. You got a great defense with Seattle. I think they come out a little more conservative. This is everything. This is. I didn't bet it. Gun to my head, if I had to pick, I would go under 47. I would go under 47.
You'd go over with it. All right, here. Puka Nacua. Over, under 90.5 receiving yards.
Wow, that's a lot of yards. I would go under.
Under. Okay. Kenny Walker, their running back, Seahawks. Receiving yards, 23.5.
I would go over. They're going to have to get him the football. They're going to have to pass him the football. Little screen pass and stuff to that nature.
Matthew Stafford, over under 226.5 passing yards.
That's going to be tough to get there. On the road, 12th man. I'd say under.
Sam Darnold, 218.5 passing yards.
I'd say over.
Over. Okay. So if it's Patriots and Rams, what would the opening line be in a game like that?
Probably a field goal. Like 3 points, 3.5 points maybe. About 3.5 probably.
What would the points be? 45.5?
No, it'd be up there. It'd be higher than that. I think it'd be
47. You think it'd be up there?
It's a Super Bowl, man. You get closer to the 50s, high 40s. You'd be up there.
So the betting time of the year right now, is this the biggest time of the year in sports betting right now when you get to the wild card games, when you get to the divisional games, when you get to the conference title games, and obviously the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is the most bet event in America, correct?
Yeah. But March Madness as a whole is bigger because you got more games. You got, it goes on longer. But yeah, this is it. This is the King Kong of sports betting. It's the NFL King Kong of sports. Within the next 10, 15 years, it's probably going to be a world league. You're going to see teams all around the world playing in the NFL. So things are about to change, man.
How about this too? Yeah, because Bob Kraft came out and said that he believes that the league's going to get to 20 games in the next 4 years. And he said that, listen, here was a stat that was psycho. He goes, of the 100 television shows last year in 2025, 93 of them were NFL football games.
Wow.
Of the top 100 TV shows, let that sit in. 93 shows. Like, the only other shows would be like World Series, maybe Republican and Democratic national conventions, maybe the Academy Awards or like the Grammys. What other thing are you watching? You're not really watching anything else. That shows you how crazy it is that, you know what, sports betting. How much do you think sports betting is also driving the NFL to up those games and to push and have more of those games?
Yeah, well, I mean, they got an issue, though. Doesn't the NFL own ESPN?
5% of ESPN because they sold the NFL network.
Yeah, and
So
ESPN.
they got 5% now.
And ESPN owns a sports book.
Yeah, they own DraftKings, or they got a business partnership with DraftKings.
They had ESPN Bet, and now like things are getting weird, things are getting funny. But yeah, sports bet. Listen, if you couldn't bet, two bad teams on a Thursday night playing in the NFL, who would watch the game? And over the years, the betting market has helped the NFL grow into the monster it is today. And now they're in bed together, so it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And I call my cousin in Greece, and he's up in the mountains of foothills of Mount Olympus, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm betting NFL." I'm like, "Well, you're betting NFL," and he's in a village in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's bears and mountain lions up there, so everyone's betting on the NFL all around the world, man. So it's just going to keep getting bigger.
How much do you think that's played into the success of your book, where people want to know that some of these guys that set the lines, that put the money, because I call you guys the best analyst in sports, because here's why. It's one thing for me to have an opinion. Godfather, for me to go out there and go, hey, I think the Rams are going to win. I think they're going to cover. I think that's one thing. I don't put any money down. You guys put bags of money down on this thing here. So you guys, again, they build those castles in Las Vegas because they don't lose.
Yeah.
Those castles are built there because they win. How much of that do you think people are interested in? Not just the story of how you got to where you are today, but how your journey went all the way to what you're doing right now as well. I'm sure you get asked a lot of questions about how you set the lines, how you look at lines, how you look at games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely helped. I mean, if it wasn't for my Twitter handle and my expertise in the sports betting market, it would have been a much harder sell. Now, my life story, it's not just about sports betting. I've been married 33 years, raised a beautiful family. I got in trouble. I know a lot of shady characters. I've hung out with billionaires. I've been in the boardroom at NovaCare Center with Jeffrey Lurie and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I've slept next to mass murderers at a Supermax prison in Yuma, Arizona. Dropped out of high school in 9th grade. Immigrant kid. My parents came over from Greece with $200 in their pocket. I was the first one born here. I was supposed to be the golden child, and I almost screwed the whole thing up. But I redeemed myself. So it's a story about redemption. It's a huge love story, and it's about flipping the odds in your favor and trying to get an edge, man. And that comes with hard work, resiliency, and you never give up. No matter how dark things get, you just got to keep swinging and swinging. And when it comes to analyzing a football game, when it comes to X's and O's and football, you know more about football than anyone I know. I'm more about the sports betting market on the business side. I'm looking for an edge. I'm looking for gambling angles. I'm looking for predictive indicators that kind of lead me into which way to bet this game. And injuries are big. Guys coming back off of injuries, what are they worth to the production numbers, whether it's on the offensive or defensive side? Guys that are hurt, what are they worth to the point spread? It's all about trying to identify some value in the market and, get an educated guess, because you want to gather as much information as possible, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, to make that educated guess. And when you win more than you lose, then your opinion becomes weighted against a Vegas number, and people respect you for your opinion. So that's what I do. But what you do when it comes to football, I mean, you're the best. No one's going to break down a football game. And I listen to you because you light up light bulbs in my head when I hear you talking about, football games. And that helps me when I'm handicapping the football game. So, you're one of the best at it, Dan.
Thank you so much, man. That's really a huge compliment. I do have to ask you this question, though, and stop me if it's too personal. What kind of toll did that take on your family when you were sitting in jail and like you were like no hope and you really thought, I mean, look, I don't know how many appeals you went through before it ended up where, because again, how many times were you shot down before you ended up really getting it and pushing it through? But surely, because my family, again, we all have our families all take on, I call it the lacrosse. That's the cross we bear. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like we're kind of like the cross we bear with my family. And so I know that. But for your family too, how much did that take its toll on them? How hard it was it on those guys when you were sitting at Yuma jail?
It was tough because my kids were young. And my kids went through a lot. And that's what hurt the most. Me, grown man, I knew what I was getting into. And once you know how much time you got to do, it gets a little easier because, you bite down, whether you got to do 5 years or 10 years or whatever you're going to do. And by the grace of God, I returned my conviction, and it was on our first appeal. And I hired a lawyer by the name of Thomas Hoyle, and he really saved my life. He changed the dynamic and the trajectory of which way my life was going to go. Because, every day you're in there, you're not out here making moves and trying to make things happen. And your finances, oh my God, if I had to do the whole time, I would have came out dead broke, and who knows what would have happened. And since I did come out early, it changed everything. And my kids suffered the most. And that's why I spent so much time with, my family, my wife, my kids, as much as possible, because I did lose 2 years. And, time is the most valuable thing we have in life. It's not money, it's not gold, it's not, all this other stuff's just an illusion. It's your health.
It's all replaceable.
Yeah, your freedom and who you choose to spend your time with. And I love every priceless moment I get to spend with my wife and my kids. And that's what life's all about. Because when you're going through those dark moments, what do you cling to? You cling to God and you cling to family. And they're your support mechanism. They're the people that get you through those tough times. And if you don't have them, it gets even tougher. And I'm so blessed that I had, I'm not the most religious guy, but, I believe in God, and I prayed because when you get to that point when there's, you're in there 23-hour lockdown surrounded by mass murderers, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, how do you stay sane? You work out like crazy. You pray as much as possible. And, people say I was lucky to overturn my conviction. But I prayed 10 times a day, 12 times a day, 15 times a day. And at the end of the day, God answered my prayers. You can call luck or whatever, but he answered my prayer. And I would pray. I would say, God, if you get me out of this mess, I will never doubt you again. And I don't put religion on anybody, but he got me out of there. So, what do you want me to do? I mean, God's great. He saved my life. And who knows where my family would have been, where my kids would have ended up, where I would have ended up. So many things would have been different. It's the butterfly effect, right? So many things can change. You zig instead of zag. You're over here, you're over there. It's just, I'm a lucky person. I work hard, and I'm so blessed, man. And I'm blessed
Absolutely.
to be. Thanks.
Absolutely. Phenomenal stuff, man. I mean, you know what I think of you. So, I mean, we're good, brother. Tell the folks where they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. The website's at phillygodfather.com. If you want to grab books, you can go to phillybook.com. I'll send you out a signed copy. It may take 3 to 7 business days. If you want to go to Amazon, it's shipped to order. You'll get it the next day, but it won't be signed. And that's it, man. Cheering in the Rams and the Patriots this week.
You got it, brother. I appreciate you very much. Catch you soon, man. We'll catch you next week, bro.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. That is the excellent Philly Godfather, and we appreciate it. Steve, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough, man. Us real brothers respect your character, Big Sills. We ain't no race. We ain't on race. Got you. We love your football mind. Keep up the great work. Steve, thank you very much, man. Good stuff. Dude, great. I mean, I can't tell you, this last 2 weeks, you guys have actually kicked the show back up, even more so during the football season. I mean, if you looked even at the football season, the last 2 weeks have been great, man. Denny, I appreciate it. Great week we had here, man. It was an absolutely great week. Yeah, isn't that, Joe? That was a great super, man. We appreciate that. Absolutely. If we get If you get me out of this, I will never do it again. Oh, man. Sills, what was Josh Allen's scouting report? That's a good one. Because I read you Jalen's all the time. Josh Allen, pre-NFL draft scouting report. Let's see if he got better. Yeah, here's Allen. This was 2018. Weakness. Never had competition rate higher than 56% in either season. Completion rate. He's improved that mightily. Accuracy diminishes greatly when he's forced to move his feet. Turnovers. That hasn't changed. May have too much hero in his blood. That hasn't changed as well. Tries to overcome obstacles with arm talent and makes poor decisions because of it. That hasn't changed either. Takes too many chances with low percentage throws. That hasn't changed either. This is 2018. Needs to play smarter and place higher value on the ball. That hasn't changed either. Fastball pitcher whose touch could use improvement on short passing games. I don't think that's improved either. Well, maybe the deep throws at times. I think he does that. And anticipatory throws don't seem to come naturally. Yeah, like throwing to a spot instead of throwing to a dude. Pre-snap game plan appears unfocused. Those are things that are still existent. Now, here's his strengths. Prototype frame for pocket passer. Sturdy base allows him to shake off sacks and extends plays, for sure. Rare arm strength and overall arm talent that's not seen. Has a variety of release points if needed. Can uncork suddenly when it breaks open. Able to thread the needle into with a rocket launcher. Makes throws that no other quarterback in the college game can make. Excellent thrower on deep outs. Able to outpace safeties to keep sideline throws. Got great speed, he does. Aggressive pump fakes, open double moves downfield, which is great, and he does that. Turns into competent traffic director when he's scrambling. He's really good with the ball in space. I think Jalen does that well. Can roll right and fling it down the field with an impressive velocity and placement like no other. Asked to read the field, and he can, the entire field. No throw is challenging. Has arm strength and mobility to create explosive plays when plays go off schedule. Ability to challenge safeties over the top and attacks the intermediate windows. All this stuff is still the same. It's funny, isn't it? Josh Allen's report, okay? Josh Allen's report for sure. All right, let's pay some bills here. Don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. That is because they win. Guys, do me a favor. If you ever hurt or injured, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I'm going to need Joe Kraus to remind me also on Saturday and Sunday, because, of course, he just reminded me here, guys. Hey, don't forget to check out our show on Sports Grid. That's from noon until 2. That's on Saturday and Sunday. So we appreciate it. And, Joe, I'm going to rely on you to remind me. I'm going to write a note to make sure, because you know me, CTE. So I will remember to make sure that we get the great folks of JAKIB Nation on both days, on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to look forward to that. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Have a great championship weekend. Us real brothers, respect your character, Big Sills. We ain't on race. We love your football mind. Keep up the great work. Stevie boy, thank you. What a great way to end the week. We appreciate it. Big Z, Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the flip side.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face. Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh.